Hi, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the Summer Wells case again. I'm going to start us out with a song. So let's take a minute here, kind of relax, catch our breaths, get ready to get it started. Clap. Hey, guys. Hey, Twister Kathy. Kathleen. Aw, it's good to see you, Kathleen. Thank you so much. Zena's in the house already. Okay, you guys, now, this is what I want to say. And I know people are going to be like, no, we don't want to do it. We're starting from the beginning, and I'm beginning with the searchers. Okay. So today I want to show an interview that Dave Radar from Midwestern EquiSearch did on Duty Ron's. Now, this is what kind of caught me as, a wow factor. Duty Ron especially had really the people who were there. I think what bothered me is the fact that people they discredited uh, Dave Radar. They discredited Twyla. I mean, I hate to say it, Twyla. I got to tell them Twyla had some issues before getting with EquiSearch. I'm not going to go into detail about them. She was on Jerry Springer one time. Let's put that out there. Um, it was weird to me throughout whole this whole time that the professionals, I call them professionals, people with titles, people who had been doing these things for years and decades with an education behind them, were being discredited. That was really odd to me throughout this whole time with the Summer Wells case. Everyone was trying to discredit everyone else. Now, I know you guys aren't going to like me saying this. Today, I'm going to go over this Duty Ron and Dave Rader. There are two different ones. Two different ones. We're starting at the beginning. I don't want to tell you guys not to pay attention to certain things. But right now, we're not going to worry about a scream, okay? Law enforcement discredited the scream from Jody Sue. Jody Sue says she heard it. They felt it had nothing to do with what happened to Summer. Law enforcement did. We're going to put that on the back burner, okay? We're going to put it on the back burner. It will come up when I get to it. I don't want to get so far ahead of myself that I have to go back and do whatever. That probably doesn't make sense, but I just think it's very important that we hear. We're going to listen to it. I'm not going to show it, I don't think. I mean, I can show it. If you guys want to look at Dave Radar and his lovely hair, I can show it. But I want you guys to hear the words. Because see, that's the issue. Nobody is really listening. Nobody's listening. Are you at work on a Sunday, Deb? You got your earbuds on? Well, I'll try to talk really, really calmly. Really calmly. And you guys know, I have to tell you, Everybody knows me, and everybody flipping knows that I go 100 different directions. So I say I don't want to go back, but of course we are going to go back because, it's been over 4 years, and this interview was done on July 19th of 2021. Okay. That's why I think it's important. I do. All right, Dave. I don't want my class distracted, sir. We're covering your face up because I want them to hear what you say. But it was sad to me because so many of these individuals were being discredited. Like what they were saying was just bullshit. That always got me when everybody will listen to a part of a child's anatomy being put in a fucking box, but people don't want to hear individuals that know what they're talking about. Don't even try to tell me that shit didn't happen because it did. And that was sad to me. That was sad to me. I'm just saying. Oh, really? That sounds like fun, Zena. Are you going to have some wine? They kept them confined. Debbie at the Walmart. Working at the Walmart, yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Deb. I should go be one of those. I would be a really good greeter, wouldn't I? No, they'd fire me after 15 minutes. I'd be like, what the fuck is up? Come on into Walmart, get your shit. Hell yeah, what you looking for? Let me try to find you a deal. They'd be like, you got to go, lady. After 10 years, Deb. Wow. Well, congratulations, even though it took you 10 years. For sure. Well, we're super proud of you. Do you want me to write the Walmart owner lady? You want me to write the lady that owns Walmart and tell her? What took you so long, damn it? That's Walmart for you, though. Okay, like I said, this is Remain Calm style. I want you guys to hear the words. And I have to tell you guys, I'm just getting started, okay? Just getting started. We're going to get through the time of the Jody hearing the scream. We're going to get to the Don Wells doing his interviews, different things that Candace has said. But we're going to do it listening to the words. Okay. So that way we don't get distracted. I heard some stuff yesterday that kind of made me pause. I'll tell you that right now. And please, just to let you guys know, come and hang out. Just please be respectful to each other in chat. Nobody needs to instigate anybody to do whatever or say whatever. That's not the way we roll over here, okay? For sure. Everybody has a right to give their opinion or their theory or let us know what they're thinking about this case. Why would anybody feel that they're better than anybody else? That's not going to happen over here. If y'all have been fighting in somebody else's chat, save it for when you go back to that chat, okay? Word on that. And I've always been like that over here. So, like it or not. Plus, I don't know what you guys are fighting about, and it's no fun. It is no fun if I don't know. For real. Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. I'm going to show you, Twister. They did not let them search the house. The house. Up at the house, Hawkins County kept that to law enforcement. And I can guarantee you something. Y'all think that Hawkins County was the only one that had control over that house? Guess who else was involved at the beginning? TBI, right? FBI even stepped up, didn't they? Card team came. So I don't know. Let's listen to Dave. We'll hear Dave talk about it. Okay. Girl, Dad, you come over here anytime. Okay.
Search. You guys call it the Midwest.
It's called EquiSearch Midwest.
I will link that
okay,
below
right?
in the description for anyone who wants to donate. It is a wonderful organization that I personally will donate myself. When I get done with this live stream, I will personally make a donation to his chapter for the great work. When you want to talk about
and Duty Ron, the lives that he did, he donated everything to EquiSearch. It was really cool. Really cool. It was.
What you did the very first time, take us back to June 15th of 2021, and when after that, when you guys arrived on the scene, around what day or when was that you guys first came on the set?
Go.
She went missing on that Tuesday afternoon, reported missing about 6:40 that evening. We reached out probably on that Thursday to see if there.
Now Dave's saying 6:40. We know the first call came in about 6:23, right? Was it 6:23 and 6:26? Somewhere between that time is when the 911 calls have never been released. Only the dispatch call. That's all we've ever heard. I've never heard the 911 calls themselves.
If there was anything that we could possibly do to assist down there. We finally did get a phone call back on that Saturday evening, probably at about 5 o'clock in the evening. Wanted us to be ready to go on Sunday morning. I personally got about 7 of us together on short notice.
This is how much they wanted to find Summer. Tim Coop actually, guess what? Contacted EquiSearch. That's how much these people wanted to find Summer.
To go down to Rogersville, Tennessee, I was on the ground in a hotel at 11 o'clock that night, ready to go for the next day. So, there was multiple agencies.
Who called you, David, to come down there? Was it law enforcement or was it the family?
No. The family did not contact us. It was strictly through law enforcement, which was being handled through their emergency manager, the Hawkins County EMA.
Okay.
Hawkins County EMA emergency medical person is Tim Coop. Okay, Tim Coop contacted EquiSearch. That's how much they wanted Summer to be found.
So it was like the Timmy Coop, Captain Coop, and his people.
That is correct. Yeah, Tim Coop was headlining this whole dance, we'll call it. And I'll tell you, he did one hell of a job as far as putting a lot of agencies and a lot of manpower on short notice and really covering a boatload of ground. It was.
Did you guys hear that? Do I need to play that again? Tim Coop did a fantastic job. That's coming from Dave Radar, right? He's been around. He goes and looks for missing people, missing children. Tim Coop did a phenomenal job. There were so many different organizations and different law enforcement from everywhere. It just wasn't Hawkins County.
Incredible.
Dave, could you just explain to us and our audience, when you got there, what was the organization like of this search? How was it organized? As who would take what area, who would take another area? What are we going to deploy? We're going to deploy horses. We're going to deploy aviation. We're going to deploy canine. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it was
Dave, before you answer, I got to ask a favor of you because it's driving me crazy.
Sure.
Is there any way you can
Dave's
back up away from the
face is
camera because
after
half
it
of your
all.
head's there you go. You don't have to be that far, or it's fine. You right there is good.
Okay.
Everybody was I didn't look at the chat, but I know that I was going to get a lot of complaints because your forehead was cut off. So now everybody can see your beautiful locks of hair.
Yeah, Dave, you have such beautiful hair. They want to see it. That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm
he
sorry,
does have beautiful
brother. I'm
hair.
sorry. I don't have hair, so I could say that. But I wanted the people to see you fully, and I didn't want to like have your
I
forehead.
can't even see me. All I got on my screen is still the
You're perfect.
the piece led up to it. So that's why I can't
All right.
Okay,
tell how far it was.
No, you're good right there.
Answer
Bill,
your
you want to lead
question,
back into that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would just like to know
No,
when
I don't.
you
Not-
finally
I
got there and you had
didn't
all your
think we
personnel
would,
put together.
Jackie.
What was the organization of this search like? How was it put together? How were the personnel deployed, and how was it determined who would search what specific areas, and how would they search these specific areas?
You know, at the time they were still searching around the house, thinking that this girl walked away. So at that point in time, there was no foul play ever mentioned, or I don't think that was considered. So at that point in time, they were strategically breaking down in and around that house into grids. And then what they would do is keep all of your manpower together, so they wasn't like basically breaking you up to put with another group. So they took those groups, and depending on the qualifications and what you're used to, is how they broke it down into.
You guys are listening to this, right? This is really important. This is telling you these people searched. They searched around the house. The house is what was off limits, I believe, to I don't know, John. Go ask her. Candace, John wants to know what the fuck you were doing at the gas station. John has a picture of you at the gas station at 5:30, ma'am. Took 40 minutes to get there, he said, and 40 minutes to get back. Is that when you left the hill twice? As I will say again, John, my deduction is Candace left the hill twice. I'm not saying John is wrong, Deb. I'm not. I want to see the picture. Not that I do not believe you, okay? I ain't saying I don't believe you. I want to see the picture. For sure. As I said before, just gonna go back a little bit. I believe that when Candace took Summer and told the boys to keep an eye on her, it was because she was going to leave the hill. That is what Remain Calm thinks. That's my opinion. Okay? We knew she got busted at a gas station. Okay? We knew that. But that just goes into me saying that I believe she told the boys to watch Summer because she was leaving the hill. My opinion. Well, I'm not going to say she was strung out in the bathroom. We don't know that. We don't have any proof that she was strung out in the bathroom. Right? I'm just saying. Hey, Benita. Good conversation,
what sector
though.
that you went to. You know, they had aviation in there. They had the helo. They had dog teams. I think that they had 5 or 6 different dog teams down there. So they were strategically placing the dogs ahead of.
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So did you guys hear that? Can we listen to Dave Radar for a minute? How do you know she left at 4:50? John, do you want to come up on panel? You want to come up on panel and talk about it? Okay, John. I don't need for you to tell me about photographs. photograph. Hey, May May. Okay, so let's not talk about the searchers. Let's put your narrative in here, John. Is that what you want to talk about? Obviously. You're telling me things that you cannot show me, John. She's not been looking for Summer the whole fucking time. Right? The whole fucking time. I mean, obvious. All right, let's get back to Dave Rader. You're jumping ahead. I'm not ready to talk about that stuff yet, John. For real. And you ain't got no pictures. Send me the pictures. Send me the proof. Send me receipts. Don't send me somebody just telling somebody that, okay? For real. Okay, let's get back to what is important. Okay? Not saying that ain't important, but neither one of them look for Summer. Boss bitch is in the house. John. Do you have a channel? Okay. Show me where, look, John, let's not talk about it. You send me a link to where law enforcement says they had pictures. No. All right, here we go. I rewound it a little bit because this is real important. I want you guys to hear where they were searching. So that way we can just, you guys can really see where this search was going on at. You don't have to think about it anymore after this. But Dave Radar's telling us where the search area was. Oh, wait, I got it muted. Sorry, Dave.
How were the personnel deployed, and how was it determined who would search what specific areas, and how would they search these specific areas?
You know, at the time they were still searching around the house, thinking that this girl walked away. So at that point in time, there was no foul play ever mentioned, or I don't think that was considered.
So did you guys hear that? I'm going to go ahead and show this. Hold on. Because I'm going to put the closed captions on. I usually do that. I'm going to go ahead and show it. I don't think Duty Ron will come and get me over it. I like Duty Ron. And he did cover quite a bit in Summer's case. Okay, let me turn the closed captions on. All right, let's get serious now. Okay, hold on a minute. This is Duty Ron. I'll have to drop his link because I forgot. I'm sorry. No, I put it in, didn't I? No, I'm sorry. I'll get it, Duty Ron, I promise. For sure. No foul play at this time. But just because it's Dave Radar said it, see, everybody just did not listen to what these people were saying.
Together. What was the organization of this search like? How was it put together? How were the personnel deployed, and how was it determined who would search what specific areas, and how would they search these specific areas?
You know, at the time they were still searching around the house, thinking that this girl walked away. So at that point in time, there was no foul play ever mentioned, or I don't think that was considered.
So beginning, no foul play at that time. It wasn't even, they were thinking that Summer walked away from the house. No foul play noted at that time. Now, this interview is from, I said July, I can't remember. I told you guys the date of this interview.
So at that point in time, they were strategically breaking down in and around that house into grids. And then what they would do is keep all of your manpower together so they wasn't like basically breaking you up to put with another group. So they took those groups, and depending on the qualifications and what you're used to is how they broke it down into what sector that you went to.
Fascinating. Fascinating what he just said. They broke it down into grids, and they used these people's specialty in search and rescue to categorize them into different groups and using them where they could use their full potential. Wow. Wow. They grid searched from around the house down. Grid searched. So, you know, people who are, I want to go out there and search, you know, if that's what you feel you need to do, I ain't here to say don't do it. But I would think that the 11 and a half acres of property surrounding the home of 110 Ben Hill Road has been thoroughly searched. Also, yes, in areas like that, there are, you know, there could be a little cave somewhere. There could be so many different things. So many different things. It would have been very sad to me. Now, listen, Don Wells immediately said, my daughter's kidnapped. If you go back to the WJHL interview, he's saying things like, oh, yeah, one of them searchers hurt their leg and was limping or some shit. I don't remember. And, you know, I feel bad for him, but she ain't out there. She's not out there. Immediately, she wasn't out there. Don knew it. Don, if I'm correct, seemed to know that while on a call with Candace at the bottom of the driveway, in which Jody Sue was privy to, where he says to Jody, basically, are you telling me my daughter was kidnapped? Because, see, weird shit kind of went on right there because, and I'll say allegedly, the proof is out there. Jody said, you know, she was like, I'm sorry. And, you know, that's weird shit. All right, Jody, you know that's fucking weird. Well, then, okay. All right, TBI announced it. All right, John, you know, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're telling me. I really do. But I kind of wish you would tell me that again when I get to that part. We're partying this up. Okay? Not partying it up. We're partying this up. So when I get to that point, I appreciate what you're telling me, sir. Okay? For real, I do. Now, Mary, MaryH 3821 at gmail.com. Feel free to send me that link. I will go look at it, sir. Thank you, Flies. That's what I've been saying. John doesn't care, Flies. John is like, you're going to talk about what I'm saying right now. Right now, remain calm. Don't go over what you're going over. Talk about what I want you to talk about. Yes, I know. I've never heard law enforcement say that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure John has, you know. All right. Thank you, Flies. There's my email, John. Feel free to use it. Excuse me, y'all. Okay, so yes, you guys, they sectioned it out. So at first, they believed that Summer had wandered off. And Dawn's telling them the whole time, no, she was taken, right? Yeah, that's right, Jackie. I got it right here in front of me, too. Yeah, John's never had the ruler before, has he? I appreciate his conversation. I do. So don't get me wrong, you guys. I do appreciate the conversation. But it's just not the right time. Okay. So they broke it down.
You know, they had aviation in the air. They had the helo. They had dog teams. I think that they had 5 or 6 different dog teams down there. So they were strategically placing the dogs ahead of the foot searchers, and then we would go in behind them as a checks and balances. And
dogs were going in first. They had like 5 or 6 teams of dogs. Okay? The dogs were going in first. Then other searchers went in, and then EquiSearch went in.
It was well organized. They would actually take us they would bus us in to each individual plot of land that we were going to do. And then we were in radio contact as far as if we found anything, if we found any evidence. We were all GPS tracked. And I can tell you, if I could share that with you, it's incredible on the amount of manpower that was in and around that piece of property in that mountain over the course of those 5 or 6 days that I was there.
Did you hear that? I think the sad thing in all of this is having that much manpower looking for Summer, hoping to find her. So much manpower, he says. But nobody listened. I don't think, I know a lot of people did listen. I listened because then when I would hear, some people, they're like, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to search. Well, look how many years it's been. And this is what happened at the beginning. Not YouTubers, but very experienced people. So talking about the Summer Wells case, you better believe I want you guys to hear what they did. Because then you can kind of, after that, pretty much decide, what you think about, what else is being said or whatever.
There.
Dave, so the folks are going to ask, there's different types of dogs, bloodhounds, there's cadaver dogs, what all manner of dogs
Here's
working
the
the
dogs,
scene?
you guys.
Yeah, they were actually using live track, and they were also using cadaver.
Both. Cadaver and live track dogs. I don't think they're called live track dogs. I just called them that. Yes, May. Thank you, boss bitch. Flies, did you see my comment I left on your channel in your comments? Did you see it? Okay, here we go. So, yes, from the beginning, they brought cadaver dogs in.
From what I understand, they could not get a very good scent article from the house.
They could not get a very good scent article from the house. That's weird, right? kind of weird to me. But anywho, this is where I think someone said Candace gave him a sock. I don't freaking know. But that is weird that they couldn't get a very good scent article from the house. Some people have said it's because they all shared clothes and stuff. I don't know. I've been busy with Princess again. She blocked out all notifications from others. That's funny. Okay. So Dave just told us a lot, you guys. And I know that so many people are like, oh, it's so boring over at Remain Calms. Well, if you're bored right now, then you feel free to come back another time, okay? Because this tells us so much about the search.
Summer,
You
because I
did?
think that everything was kind of shared. So I'm not too sure how well that played out, but they did use Cadaver, and they also used Live Track, and not one of them took us in any one direction.
So was it confirmed, Dave, that they did bring in multiple dogs into the home and outside of the home? Because there's been reports that some dogs got sent to the end of the road of the house, and then it stopped there. Is there any truth to that statement, Dave?
From what I understand, yes. That, as far as the interior of the house, I have no knowledge of that working. But I did hear on several occasions that the Live Track took it to the end of the.
For senior.
Live Track took it to the end of the driveway, I believe he's going to say. Dave does not know. Law enforcement took control of the house. Law enforcement took control of the house from the get-go. From the get-go. They searched this house multiple times. Multiple times. May, you are so funny. You are funny, girl. Okay, so Dave says we didn't have control of the house. Law enforcement had control of the house. Now, I'm sorry, but they was looking for something. And they were looking for something that they felt important enough to get warrants to go in and search that house over and over and over. Look at Don Wells. We know the dude hasn't hid the fact that he was going away from home, and he was getting him some goodies or handing it out free to people because he's such a good guy. Let's give the crack-a-lacks a little boost to their ego. That was Don Wells' story. After it was said that law enforcement was being accusatory of Don by saying that they believed he sold his daughter for substances. Okay? So, no, not today, Justin. I'm sorry, honey. I promise I'll let you up pretty soon. I will, I promise. Okay. Right? Y'all remember that? Newer Summer Wells people? Yes. Couple times, actually. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, you guys. Let me rewind that a little bit. I am very low budget over here, you guys. I apologize. There is nothing freaking fancy over here. I can tell you that right now. Better believe it. Okay. This Dave Radar is telling us where they said that summer scent ended. Okay. I think they knew they should have locked the property down, removed everyone from the crime scene. Wrong on. Well, if they, this is the thing, May. They thought Summer had walked away from home. Their first belief was that Summer had walked off and had gotten lost, had went too far or whatever. Then the dog comes in. So just because the dog hit at the end of the driveway and they couldn't pick it up, I would not have really liked it if just because of that they quit looking for her in the area. Do you see what I'm saying? See, Dawn immediately, I don't know why they're out there looking. She ain't out there. When she could have been out there. And I would have been very disappointed if they would have listened to Dawn and quit searching the area for her. Yeah, they will. They'll speak about the sheds here in a minute. Oh, Justin, are you serious? You just want to come up here and not say anything, Justin? You gonna give me a hard time, Justin? For real? It does say open panel. You're right, Justin. You got me on that one. For real. Well, it's not open yet. It's not open yet. Okay. My first belief. Well, I think they did, May. Okay. When I play the not the 911 call, the dispatch call. When I play the dispatch call, May, you're going to hear dispatch say that it doesn't matter who on that hill said they searched the house. Law enforcement was to search that house. That is on the dispatch call. Hey, even if they said they've looked inside, you go look inside too. So you better believe when they went up there, yes, for sure. So, yeah, okay. Nothing. Flies. I don't think he knows anything. Justin just likes to come up and hang out. I appreciate you, Justin. I do, but Kathy. Okay, here we go. All right.
We're actually using Live Track, and they were also using Cadaver. From what I understand, they could not get a very good scent article from the house for Summer because I think that everything was kind of shared. So I'm not too sure how well that played out, but they did use Cadaver, and they also used Live Track. and not one of them took us in any one direction.
So was it confirmed, Dave, that they did bring in multiple dogs into the home and outside of the home? Because
And that's kind of weird, right? That not one of the dogs took them in, you know, in one sort of direction.
there's been reports that some dogs got sent to the end of the road of the house and then it stopped there. Is there any truth to that statement, Dave?
From what I understand, yes. That, as far as the interior of the house, I have no knowledge of that working. But I did hear on several occasions that the live track took it to the end of the driveway, and that's where they lost it. And usually that means they get into a car.
Okay. So we just heard what Dave Radar says, right? Usually that means they get into a car. So then you pop over and, Don Wells comes out and basically tells a story of what could have happened to his daughter being, put in the car by an undesirable person and taken miles and miles away very quickly. He, mentioned that they probably were, substance abusers or whatever. Yeah. And many other things. Okay. But we're not specifically talking about Don Wells at the moment. So I am sorry that I add to shit. Okay. I apologize. I really do.
Again, if you look up, guys, if you look up where this house sits, and the possibility of a stranger abduction, it does not make sense at all. Only for this.
Doesn't make sense at all. Dave would know, you guys. Dave would know. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit. I want you guys to hear this. Newer people in Summer Wells case. Kind of take a little note of this.
Stop there. Is there any truth to that statement, Dave?
From what I understand, yes. That, as far as the interior of the house, I have no knowledge of that working. But I did hear on several occasions that the live track took it to the end of the driveway, and that's where they lost it. And usually that means they get into a car. But again, if you look up, guys, if you look up where this house sits, and the possibility of a stranger abduction, it does not make sense at all. Only for the simple reason that you have to go. You're in a secluded area. Number one. Number two is that you have to come off of a main road to go down their road, only to go back a long driveway. Right. And again, if they're all sitting there and they're all there, the odds of that happening are, to me, are slim to none.
Slim to none. So what did he really just tell us? Because guess what? I'm going to listen to Dave Radar because he knows. He's experienced. So, but I mean, could it be the latter? Yeah, we don't know. Why would they luminol? I'm sure, the house was really cluttered. Was really cluttered. He was saying if she was abducted, it was somebody in the area or knew of the area. Right. Right. But, I mean, people look at things differently, so. I don't care what anyone says. Summer went missing by the hands. Yes, I agree, May May. I agree. I will pin your comment, darling. I don't care what anyone says. Summer went missing by the hands of an adult. Fact. I agree with you there. I do.
And, and Dave, we heard a lot about the family's dogs, and it said there was reported that there was anywhere from 7 to 20 dogs. Can you confirm that?
I cannot confirm that. I know that there was a couple dogs, but as far as that many dogs, I can't confirm that at all.
Which that would make it even more difficult for a stranger to come onto the property.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I would think that if she wandered away, I would think one of those dogs would go with her.
Thank you, Dave Radar. I think that too, and a lot of other people do too. If Summer would have wandered off, one of those dogs would have been with her. You would think, right? Now, that day the dogs were disappeared from, some people's accounts of the number of dogs that were up there, and the tree trimmers were in the area, and Jody basically said that tree trimmers were in the area. The loud noises and stuff had been, getting to the dogs or whatever, and they could have been hiding, or running around, whatever, right? Then Chris McDonough goes and they bark at him a little bit, and that's about it. Don even said the dogs were pussies. He called his dogs pussies. Said they wouldn't do shit. But when you have dogs and you live in an environment where there's chaos, and not saying this was the Wells, I'm just kind of giving an example, right? You have a bunch of dogs and they're hanging out with you all the time. I think that you discipline the dogs to your environment and what you got going on at your house. Okay? Y'all know what I mean. If you got Uncle Teddy who wants to come over and be intoxicated, you don't want your dogs going after Uncle Teddy every time, right? So you're continuously telling your dogs to shut up. That's just me. I don't know. I was never like that, but that is true. Very true. For real. Good evening. Good evening. Okay.
I'm showing an overview of the property. I don't know if you could see that,
Excuse
Dave,
me.
but I'm going to go full screen with it so you guys can see. This is the house right here.
Okay, wait.
In the middle.
I think I can make that bigger for you guys. All right. I'm not going to leave it up there the whole time, but that is the pic. There's the house. Look at all of that property. It's beautiful property. It is beautiful property, you guys. Oh, wait, what'd I do? Help me, Jesus. There, I'm back. I'm back in the saddle again. My dogs bark at a bug flying by, so I'm constantly yelling, shut up. What happened to Hippie? Don said, lived in the car on the property. A hippie that lived in a car on the property, May? John. IDK. What's that got to do with anything? Email it. Email me, John. I'm going to have to put you in the cry closet. Okay? But thanks for that side note. Thanks for that side note. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Of the screen. So I'll bring it down. But this is an
Wow,
overview
look at
of
that, you
the area.
guys.
And here's the road that led to that's their road right alongside the 110 B. What is it?
It's Ben Hill.
Ben Hill, right? Ben.
Okay, this is a shed. That right there is that shed, isn't it? No, wait. Am I looking at it wrong? Okay, wait, I'm looking at it wrong.
Hill Road. Yep. With my glasses, I could read up close, but far away, everything gets blurry. You know, this what sucks about age, right? But anyways,
Okay, look at
this is
this,
the
you
home
guys.
right here, and you know, quite a bit of trees, bush, heavy bush all around it. And if you pan out, you got random homes up over here to your right, and it's just few and far between of dwellings. So it's mainly some open fields across the way, and then just a concentration of a lot of hills, valleys, and heavy bush. Talk about some of the difficulties of searching that.
I mean, on Google Earth, you can't really tell how steep those hills are, but let me tell you from firsthand, a billy goat would have a damn hard time traversing some of these hills that we were on the side of. I mean, they were.
Okay. A billy goat would have a hard time walking up and down these hills sideways. I will show you eventually the video that Don and Tim Mullins put out. We'll get to that, and I'll show you guys that.
Very treacherous. There was sticker bushes. There was we had sightings of bear. We had a lot of copperheads.
Sightings of bears, you guys. Sightings of bears. So, and I know people don't believe that, a bear could do that. But you might want to research bears a little bit, for sure. The only I don't know.
We had everything that you could think of. The heat was just incredible.
They had
It was
copperheads.
taking a toll on the searchers because it was so damn hot. It was like 90 degrees, and people think, well, you're in the shade, you're in the you're undercover. There's no air under there.
And throughout this time, now Don allegedly is saying that he was going and searching. Now, the thing about it is, I'm not exactly sure how Don allegedly went to, what was the name of that, where Don went. Don said he went to this place, and the guy basically threw him off of the property, told him to get the fuck out of there. And Don sees a 5-year-old girl playing out by the road on her property. What was the name of the place he went to, you guys? I can't think of it off the top of my head. And I know I got some people who know. It wasn't Chimney Top, was it? What the fuck was it? I can't think. Bays Mountain. Real clap. Thank you, Flies. See, that's how lazy, low budget I am. I'm just gonna give the real clap. I don't want to have to pull it up. Oh. That's the shed on Beach Creek. Thank you, Flies. That's what I thought that was the shed. The shed that Don went to first. And we'll go back. I'm going to hang on to that right there. Dave Radar's talking about how hot it is. How hot it was. Do you see? it's weird, you guys, because, and we're going to get into the timeline. We're going to get into all of that. But Don went to that shed first. Before he went up the hill. Yeah. Yet, let's see if Don actually got the call. If Don Wells actually got the call at 5:30, right? Wee darling, yay! You get a real clap. You absolutely get a real clap, girl. I hope you're doing good. I do. I can't believe you've been a member for 16 months. I feel bad too because I don't know. Okay. Yay, Wee's back. Okay. So he's talking about the conditions. And yes, they did see a bear.
Well, for volunteers to come out. You have people coming from you guys are up in Ohio, so I would imagine that a lot of your personnel have come from your local area or the surrounding area, right? You don't.
Yeah, I've actually got one coming from Evansville, Indiana.
Wow.
Ooh, Indiana, woot woot.
I've got them coming from Kentucky, of course. I've got them coming from Tennessee, of course. I've got 2 or 3 people that are coming north of me from Dayton, Ohio.
Right.
I had somebody reach out from West Virginia.
Wow.
So
your personnel that comes with you. First, I want to say thank you to Denise Spalding for the $100 super chat. Much appreciated. That's going to go and pay it forward. I'm going to send that directly over to Dave's organization. So thank you for that super chat, Denise Spalding. It's $100 going towards the search for Summer Wells. Appreciate that. Thank you to all the members who become channel members. What type of personnel, Dave, that you have? Talk about retired professionals. Do you have retired police? Do you have?
Okay, I want you guys. I'm just going to give these people a shout out. Most of these people have backgrounds in specific fields.
Retired search and rescue pilots. Talk about some of those folks that come aboard with the organization.
You know, we have so many different diverse individuals from different backgrounds. We just have a new member today that's in the mining industry that has a plethora of tools that we could reach out to. I've got some of the best technology that there is on the planet as far as drones. Some of these drones are $35,000, $40,000 that has near FLIR on, or near infrared, I'm sorry. And anybody that doesn't really know, this is a new technology that they have developed that they can actually tell if a piece of ground has been disturbed from a drone. That's unheard of. So if we're looking for a grave, it could possibly be we could fly an area and this infrared would be able to tell us if dirt has been turned over or moved. And
wow. So when I don't remember exactly how long it was before the PIs, their names were Chris and Trudy, I think. Those were the Wells's private investigators. At some point, they went to an area and was flying a drone, and it pretty much showed it on the news or whatever. That's what they were doing too. They were using the same kind of drone capability, I guess. It's kind of weird to me when people, I am not well educated in a lot of things. So, anytime I have a chance to listen to someone who I know is smarter about something than I am, I'm a pretty good listener. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. Okay.
In any different way.
Wow.
And that's detrimental only for the simple reason that instead of having a whole team go and check that anomaly out, we now can just sit there and send 1 or 2 persons to that because it's GPS marked, and that we can sit there and check
Wow,
out
that's
and see if
super
it is a
cool.
grave or it's something else.
Are you researching dental implants?
So, for real. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. But I could never understand because, well, I don't understand a lot of things. No, you're not stupid, May May. You're a boss bitch. You're a boss bitch, May May. You are not stupid. Okay? Okay. Oh, wait. No, I am, because I
So instead of putting
need to
divers in the water
unmute.
for cars, bodies, I can literally take this, deploy it within 15, 20 minutes, and I can tell you exactly what's in the bottom of that retention pond or small lake.
Now, let me ask you, I don't mean to cut you off because you were pretty much finished with that, but when we look at guys like there's a channel here that has like 1 million subscribers, it's called Adventures with Purpose.
Yep.
So Jared and his partner, Sam, go out, and there's another guy with them now. They
Yep.
go out, and I've seen them like with a trolling boat, like a trolling motor boat, and then they have that sonar equipment. Is that what it takes to go and scan, or can you do it from like can you do it from a drone or a helicopter? Or
No, it's actually from the shore. So all I have to do is take it out of my truck, throw it in, scan it, bring it back, put the SD card in the computer, and I can tell you exactly what's in that right, and I'm not even leaving the area.
Did you guys hear that? So, yes, there were individuals who physically looked in those ponds, but he's telling you that he had like a sonar and you throw it in the water and bring it back and it shows everything. Twister, you searched with EquiSearch. Well, that's really good. Good on you. I know, it's good to see I know you're listening, though, when you're not here, Okay. All right. So, yes. Oh, the PI. Oh, the PI? Oh. Okay. Well, good on you. Okay. Let me get this finished up.
So I can do smaller retention ponds to where the Adventures with Purpose, they're more of the larger lakes. They actually work with a team out of.
Okay, why they're talking about Adventures with Purpose is because people kept trying to get a hold of Adventures with Purpose, so they would go out there to the ponds or the bodies of water and, use sonar. They're really good at finding things. Basically, they look for vehicles and stuff, but they do find people in those vehicles after many, many years. They were good at that. You can go check into that if you want. Throughout this time, the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office told Adventures with Purpose that they basically didn't need for them to come out and look. Okay? So, I don't know why that would stop them, but, yeah, that's all a big story in itself. Jared, oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so Jared, I forget his last name, Lasky, I don't know, from Adventures with Purpose, ended up being taken to court over something that he did to a very young cousin years prior. And the court allowed, it was, I think, Duty Ron and Queen Bee. There was somebody else too, wasn't there? That were live streaming the courts, and it was Christmas time, and Duty Ron started talking, and the court could hear him. Oh my gosh, I need to find that. That was hilarious. Yeah. It was Duty Ron. It was funny. You could hear him. Yep. The judge could hear him and everything. The judge could hear him and it was funny. He should use that as a Duty Ron blooper. A Duty Ron blooper. Who remembers that? Somebody please tell me they remember that. That's way, way back. That happened way, way back. So, yes, the Adventures with Purpose, they had nothing to do with Summer's case at all. So, okay. Now, this is, he's telling you where they searched, okay?
Like with a trolling boat, like a trolling motorboat, and then they have that sonar equipment. Is that what it takes to go and scan, or can you do it from like can you do it from a drone or a helicopter? Or
No, it's actually from the shore. So all I have to do is take it out of my truck, throw it in, scan it, bring it back, put the SD card in the computer, and I can tell you exactly what's in that right, and I'm not even leaving the area. So I can do smaller retention times to where the Adventures with Purpose, they're more of the larger lakes. They actually work with a team out of St. Louis, Team Waters, WATTERX.
Almost speed it up.
They have helped them
Well, I've
tremendously.
already got
Dennis
it
and
sped
Tammy
up.
are probably one of the best in the water business as far as they have, I think, over 105 bodies recovered.
And you have them on board with you?
I have them on board, yes, sir.
Dave, I want to ask you, to me, a very pertinent question. And you sort of touched upon it almost unintentionally. You said that if she had walked out and actually walked down the road, that the dogs probably would have found her. So I'm just going to ask you, do you think that the story told by Candace is plausible?
No.
Did you hear that? I'm going to slow it down. I'll put it on normal. Please listen. Now, you can agree with him or not agree with him. I don't care either way. I know what I agree with. So listen to this. Listen now.
I can do smaller retention times to where the Adventures with Purpose, they're more of the larger lakes. They actually work with a team out of St. Louis, Team Waters, WATTERX. They have helped them tremendously. Dennis and Tammy are probably one of the best in the water business as far as they have, I think, over 105 bodies recovered to date.
Wow. And you have them on board with you?
I have them on board, yes, sir.
That is
okay. So why Dave Radar can call upon Adventures with Purpose if it's needed. Right?
Dave, I want to ask you, to me, a very pertinent question. And you sort of touched upon it almost unintentionally. You said that if she had walked out and actually walked down the road, that the dogs probably would have found her. So I'm just going to ask you, do you think that the story told by Candace is plausible?
No.
No. No. Yeah, they used divers in the area. There were divers who went out and checked a lot of the ponds, right? It doesn't sound plausible. The story that Candace is given doesn't sound plausible. And that's coming from somebody with a lot more experience than I have. So, story doesn't sound plausible. Then the freaking chaos and manufactured chaos began, right? Look, the one thing you have to hope for is that somebody who was doing a wonderful thing got Summer in their car, and and she's fine and well today. That's what we all hope for. That is what we all hope for. But if we sit here and say, realistically, it doesn't always end up that way. Hey, Moonflower. Right? When I was a child, me and my siblings were easy picking for abduction, and our parents never checked on us. Yeah, me too, May May. I was the youngest of 5 kids, and it was that way for me. I mean, yeah, I guess that's the way you can look at it. For sure. Okay, let's see what else Dave's got to say.
No.
I think something. I really like that. You're not an investigator, but based on you're coming from a different discipline, and that is deductive reasoning at its best.
Yeah. And David, did you say 100% no?
I don't think that it's plausible that she wandered off and nobody could not with the amount of individuals that we had covering that mountain, and especially after day 4 when I got there, and the amount of people that surrounded that, it's almost like it just was a noose and it was just tightening up. There's no way she could have got out of that first circle without being spotted.
So they started in a big circle and worked their way back towards the property, it sounds like, right? Right? And something you guys will find interesting, I don't know if Dave mentions it in this one. There is another one that he did with Duty Ron. But he has to communicate personally with Dawn Wells. I don't know why. I can't remember, and I'll try to find it if it's not in this one, where Dawn didn't like EquiSearch, or there was a problem or something. And if I remember correctly, Dave had to tell him, this is about your daughter. This is about your daughter. Little things like that you remember. And I have it. I haven't showed it. Candace was talking about, I believe it was a dude named Morlock, and how he had come up to the property really wasted one night and wanted Dawn to go into town with him. And, Candace is like, the dude got in trouble. He fucking was drinking moonshine that was made in the Beach Creek area. Some dude was with him. He touchy-feeled him a little bit too much. He threw the dude out of the car, and it almost freaking unalived the dude. So, yeah, that's all just weird, right? But what was my point on that? Dawn is the one that I guess the guy was brought to her attention by Dawn or something. They try to change the story. Anywho, I think I'm just trying to make a point along the way. Dawn Wells says a lot of different things. And yeah, so that pretty much showed that Candace was listening to what Dawn was saying too, right? Dave did not buy their story. Well, it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense, you guys. It just didn't. And it is a little different to hear, you know, for people to hear it from someone who knows what they're talking about as far as the search and rescue aspect of it.
Especially when you got a helo with FLIR on it. You know, now all of a sudden you have to also remember, guys, that this little girl after day 4 has not had any water, has not had any nourishment. She's in dire straits at this point in time. So her movements are going to be slow, if not non-existent. So
slow, if not non-existent. And it's sad to hear that, but this is the truth. After 4 days, these searchers, grown people, were having problems with the environment, and the weather was horrible for them. So if Summer was out there, day 4 was a critical day, as was day 1, 2, and 3. Now, we did hear Leslie Earhart say they couldn't say possibly she had shoes on or not. Okay? So if she didn't have shoes on and she was out there, even if she did have shoes on and she was out there, it was pitch black out there. You couldn't even see your hand in front of your face. I mean, just, it gets really, really dark. Where would she have moved? She would have been, in my opinion, at 5 years old, she would have been hunkered down somewhere. Well, I get you, Deb. There's a lot of people who think that CPS had gotten involved, and look, we've seen how fast they made up the prank call to Mary. I pointed that out. These people have had years together. Years together. They've been together so long that, you know, they know how to bullshit together. They sure do. But no, people, yeah. Some people do think that Summer was getting ready to start school, that, you know, they were intimidated that maybe she was going to say something she shouldn't say. But if that was the case with Candace, I don't think Candace would have took her to, you know, make sure she was ready to go to school. She did. She lied so easy. Hey, Deb. Right? And look, I'm not here to say Candace and Don are guilty or innocent. I'm not. I'm just talking about things. That's all I'm doing. And I do appreciate if somebody comes in and mentions something and reminds me of something. I really do. And if I'm not specifically talking about that now, we will get there, I promise. I promise. You can state your opinion all you want to, Deb. I get, you're fine. You're fine. I agree. I agree. For real. For real, for real. Heck yeah, I want you to state your opinion over here. And there are a lot of people that do think that. See, it seems to me, and I could totally be wrong, that CPS had been involved more than just the BB, the boys playing with the BB things, the BB weapons. How about that? How about that, YouTube? Okay. Prior to that, but I could be wrong. That's just the way conversations went. That's, you know. I wouldn't be signing my kids over nobody. I would demand answers if I didn't definitely know where my child was. We're going to get deep into that, May too, because, I mean, that's a whole live by itself when we talk about them signing the kids over. To be honest, I don't think it surprised me that they signed the kids over. I was more surprised with Candace not fighting more for them. I don't know why she gave up. Yeah, that's what I kind of took. It was, you know, we're going to keep taking you back to court, and we're going to take you back to court more than one time. And when we do, you're in trouble. The only thing I have to say about that, it's weird to me that they received papers from the state stating that they're allowed to be around children, but yet, and I've not seen a receipt, but I don't know how the state would specifically state in a document that they are allowed to be around children if there was any sexual abuse. Does that make sense? I'm sure that there was some sort of neglect, I'm sure. But other than that, I don't know. Grubby goat. That doesn't make any sense, Twister. So, oh yeah, it does. Okay, I see what you're saying. You said that the state basically said, sign them over or we're going to arrest you. Really, Poppy? Real clap for Poppy. 35 years. That is so cool, Poppy. Congratulations, Mr. Poppy Red Mustang. For sure. He better have done something really special for you, lady. I'm just saying. For sure, for sure. Well, I don't know who your source is, okay? Yeah, that is cool, Poppy. Congratulations. That is cool. That is really cool. Okay. Let's get back to Dave here for a minute. Okay, so he's saying it doesn't make any sense how it transpired, Summer missing, with what Candace was saying.
And I think, something I really like that, you're not an investigator, but based on you're coming from a different discipline, and that is deductive reasoning at its best.
Yeah. And David, did you say 100% no?
I don't think that it's plausible that she wandered off and nobody could not with the amount of individuals that we had covering that mountain, and especially after day 4 when I got there, and the amount of people that surrounded that, it's almost like it just was a noose and it was just tightening up. There's no way she could have got out of that first circle without being spotted, and especially when you got a helo with FLIR on it. Now all of a sudden you have to also remember, guys, that this little girl after day 4 has not had any water, has not had any nourishment. Guys. She's in dire straits at this point in time, so her movements are going to be slow, if not non-existent. So she's not even going to be a moving target at that point in time. And for 1,000 people to sit there and literally not find this girl within the confines of that circle, I ain't buying it.
Thank you. Let's talk about the first 48 hours. How important is that?
The biggest thing for me is reliability.
Deb, you playing pimp? You trying to pimp Jinkies out over here? I think I already talked about that. A choral anniversary. No, you're fine, Deb. I'm messing with you. I really am. You're supposed to say, heck yeah, I am. Ain't nothing wrong with being a pimp, Deb. For real. Well, I mean, yeah. I know that it was bad. So, for sure. Oh shit, hang on. Hang on. Okay, here we go.
Has not had any water, has not had any nourishment. She's in dire straits at this point in time. So her movements are going to be slow, if not non-existent. So she's not even going to be a moving target at that point in time. And for 1,000 people to sit there and literally not find this girl within the confines of that circle, I ain't buying it.
Thank you.
You guys heard that,
Let's
right?
talk about the first 48 hours. How important is that?
I think the first hour is detrimental. 48. I mean, a lot can happen in 48 hours.
Right.
And the way I think of things, guys, and again, I don't want to piss nobody off or jump a bandwagon, but here's my thought process on all of this across the United States. If you have a missing individual, I think law enforcement should have a search team or something like us. So when that individual goes missing, all hands are on deck, and you put all those resources in there and you saturate. And I think that's when you're going to have your best success, is within that 24 hours, if not sooner.
He's giving us a lesson
That's
here,
my-
guys.
that's my-
But Dave,
personal
it sounds like you guys were all over that pretty damn quickly.
To me, that's how you have like an Alzheimer's patient.
And
Or-
you're searching the area according to the information that you received from the complainant, who in this case is her mother, Candace.
Right. But again, you also have to, my mindset, guys, is I'm also sitting there thinking, what if? So let's not, we got the business at hand, but let's not forget that if this goes south and this does turn criminal, why not look at both avenues at the same time? Let's go out and start looking. Here's my thing, is that for every second of every minute of every hour of every day, we are losing vital evidence either on that body or through other means.
Right.
And that's what's so important, is to get as many people on the ground and find this individual so you can preserve that evidence.
And I thought what was really impressive
You guys are
about the
listening to this, right?
238 plus remains or folks recovered and brought back to their families, I want to just emphasize, never in one of these cases was the evidence compromised.
Absolutely not.
Meaning was a crime scene tainted by someone inadvertently picking up a recovered body part or moving a decedent. These guys are professionals and they know what they're doing. I tip my cap to you big time, because these things are just so important. And I want to just also ask you, and I don't know if you have this information, because here's another thing that's swirling amongst true crime enthusiasts. And I love my true crime enthusiasts. I love the people who pick your brain apart, that ask you the tough questions. There's a thing swirling about Summer Wells, that she was a special needs, that she was nonverbal, and that she was a special needs. This is just a thing that I've heard people speaking about.
And this is important. People were saying like that Summer had like fetal alcohol syndrome and things like that. Whatever that would have been told to Dave Radar. They would know if they were looking for a child with a specific handicap, right? So
I have not heard law enforcement once, because when an Amber Alert goes out, or if there's a search, Bill and I know from searching for thousands upon thousands of missings, if it's a special category, we call it special category. If it's somebody with, that's Alzheimer's, that's nonverbal, that's autism, it is immediately transmitted, because they want everybody to know. Do you have anything on that, Dave, for us?
No, I never once heard that girl had any kind of special needs or wants. No, there was nothing to my knowledge. No.
Right.
It was never conveyed to me.
Yeah, law enforcement would convey that to you, obviously, because
Absolutely.
you've done hundreds of these searches, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be, well, I just did a case 3 years ago down in Tennessee, baby Joe Daniels. He was a special needs. He was 5 years old. Supposedly the father did it. He confessed to doing it. He just got charged with it. We still have yet to recover his body. But he was an autistic child. And 9 times out of 10, when an autistic, and you guys can probably confirm this also, is when you have an autistic child, they always gravitate towards water. Always.
It's almost
There was no fear.
Yeah.
And there was two ponds, good sized ponds by this child's house, and I think that he would have went to that, and it never did. So no, it was never conveyed to us that this child had any kind of special needs.
Okay. So, I mean, that answers a lot of questions for me. I mean, Robin even talked about Summer. It seemed like Summer was just like, you know, she wanted to be busy, and she wanted to be busy all the time. And I don't know, you guys. For 5 years old, I mean, she did seem kind of needy of attention, like in the church, because Robin makes a comment to I think it's Jeff Bobo about Summer not only gravitated toward her in the church, but others in the church too, that, you know, she would give attention to. That is what she said. I heard her say it. So nothing was reported that anything was wrong with Summer at all.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dave. I just had to ask you because so many people send me messages about it, and I see people speaking about it. And you know, there could be some kind of neglect that was going on. We don't know what happened inside that home, but it would be something clinical from a professional, a doctor, where it was certified that this person suffers from.
Thank you, because like Duty Ron said, we don't know what happened in that home or transpired around that home, right? So we don't know if Candace didn't have, there was no clarifying anything from a doctor. Let's put it like that.
X, Y, and Z. Law enforcement would know that and would be transmitting that on the Amber Alert, transmitting it on the missing persons report, and transmitting it to folks like yourself, Captain.
Headway has.
Okay. Can't believe I've been on here almost 2 hours, you guys. It's just important. These things are important. They're important to know what transpired in the very beginning. People who did not know the family at all were looking for Summer. And they weren't looking for Summer because of her, you know, they were looking for Summer. How do I word this? This is going to seem. They were looking for Summer. They didn't care how the parents were acting at the time. Their main concern was to try to find a child that could have possibly walked away from home. I'm not being mean to Justin, Sherry. But thanks for the input. Okay, wait.
We don't know what happened inside that home, but it would be something clinical from a professional, a doctor, where it was certified that this person suffers from X, Y, and Z.
Correct.
Law enforcement would know that and would be transmitting that on the Amber Alert, transmitting it on the missing persons report, and transmitting it to folks like yourself, Captain Tim Coop from the rescue squad over in Hawkins County. You reached out to him. He gave you the blessing and said, hey, we want a fresh set of eyes. We want fresh people to look at. And he actually said it in his last press conference, I think June 27th. We're going to shut this thing down, but we want to get fresh eyes and fresh people in here. So I think it's a good idea. Can you talk a little bit about, I know we can't talk about location, but I want you to talk to the audience about the importance of keeping this close to the chest and not speaking about it. If somebody sees your organization, which has the markings all over the vehicles, you guys are high profile for safety reasons. Just speak to my audience about the importance of what you spoke about in that news piece and keeping this investigation true.
You know, and again, this is an ongoing investigation that people have to understand on social media. And again, it's very pertinent is because we really don't know at this point in time who all the players of the game are. So we don't know if it's the family. It could be an outsider. And if they're watching all the social media and they're putting up to, maps and where they were here and they were there, and this individual is watching all of this, all you're doing is enabling this individual to hide something that we're so desperately trying to find. So
thank you, Dave. This is what I've been saying from the beginning. People don't listen to me. Yeah, they do. Most kids like to be busy. For sure. I want you guys to hear what he says one more time, please. This is what I've said the whole time. I'm going to rewind it a little bit here.
Same time, let's go out and start looking. Here's my thing, is that for every second of every minute of every hour of every day, we are losing vital evidence either on that body or through other means. Right. And that's what's so important, is to get as many people on the ground and find this individual so you can preserve that evidence.
And I thought what was really impressive about the 238 plus remains or folks recovered and brought back to their families, I want to just emphasize, never in one of these cases was the evidence compromised.
Absolutely not.
Meaning, was a crime scene tainted by someone inadvertently picking up a recovered body part or moving a decedent. These guys are professionals and they know what they're doing. I tip my cap to you big time, because these things are just so important. And I want to just also ask you, and I don't know if you have this information, because here's another thing that's swirling amongst true crime enthusiasts. And I love my true crime enthusiasts. I love the people who pick your brain apart, that ask you the tough questions.
Oh, duty, Ron. Okay.
Wells, that she was a special needs, that she was nonverbal, and that she was a special needs. This is just a thing that I've heard people speaking about. I have not heard law enforcement once, because when an Amber Alert goes out, or if there's a search, Bill and I know from searching for thousands upon thousands of missings, if it's a special category, we call it special category. If it's somebody with, that's Alzheimer's, that's nonverbal, that's autism, it is immediately transmitted, because they want everybody to know. Do you have anything on that, Dave, for us?
No, I never once heard that girl had any kind of special needs or wants. No, there was nothing to my knowledge. No.
Right. And law enforcement would convey that to you, obviously, because you've done hundreds of these searches, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be. Well, I just did a case 3 years ago down in Tennessee. Baby Joe Daniels. He was a special needs. He was 5 years old. Supposedly the father did it. He confessed to doing it. He just got charged with it. We still have yet to recover his body. But he was an autistic child. And 9 times out of 10, when an autistic, and you guys can probably confirm this also, is when you have an autistic child, they always gravitate towards water. Always. There was no fear.
Yeah.
And there was two ponds, good-sized ponds by this child's house, and I think that he would have went to that and it never did. So, but no, it was never conveyed to us that this child had
Right.
any kind of special needs.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dave. I just had to ask you because so many people send me messages about it, and I see
Yeah.
people speaking about it. And there could be some
See,
kind of
Judy
neglect that
Ron,
was going
these
on.
guys
We don't know what
answered a
happened
lot of
inside that home,
questions
but
on this
it would be
live, you
something
guys.
clinical from a professional, a doctor, where it was certified that this person suffers from X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Law enforcement would know that and would be transmitting that on the Amber Alert, transmitting it on the missing persons report, and transmitting it to folks like yourself, Captain Tim Coop from the rescue squad over in Hawkins County. You reached out to him. He gave you the blessing and said, hey, we want a fresh set of eyes. We want fresh people to look at. And he actually said it in his last press conference, I think June 27th. We're going to shut this thing down, but we want to get fresh eyes and fresh people in here. So I think it's a good idea. Can you talk a little bit about, I know we can't talk.
Real clap to Mr. Coop. He did do a fantastic job. I think when people think about him, though, they think about him fighting for the reward fund for Summers reward fund. He felt the money should go to Churchill Rescue, and it ended up going to what was it? I can't think, you guys. I cannot think. It went to an organization for children, though. I just can't think of it. My brain is going. That's why I'm doing this, in case my brain ever goes poof. That's why I'm doing this for myself.
About location, but I want you to talk to the audience about the importance of keeping this close to the chest and not speaking about it. If somebody sees your organization, which has the markings all over the vehicles, you guys are high profile for safety reasons. Just speak to my audience about the importance of what you spoke about in that news piece and keeping this investigation true.
And again, this is an ongoing investigation that people have to understand on social media. And again, it's very pertinent is because we really don't know at this point in time who all the players of the game are.
And law enforcement may know all the players of the game, but we only know the players that are on social media. And there's a shit ton of them. I'm just saying. But anyhow, I really want you guys to listen what he says about how, things could definitely impede on the investigation of a little girl gone missing. Hey, the mouse, what is up?
So we don't know if it's the family. It could be an outsider. And if they're watching all the social media and they're putting up to, maps and when they were here and they were there, and this individual is watching all of this, all you're doing is enabling this individual to hide something that we're so desperately trying to find. So we have to have it to where it's like, look, we know that people mean well and they want to say, well, they've seen us over here and they've seen us over there, but refrain from doing that only for the simple reason that we don't want a potential perpetrator to get off on this and for Summer never to be found because of somebody wanting to sit there and play armchair quarterback or detective or however you want to do it. But you have to sit there and think a little bit outside the box and refrain from, okay, we've seen him over there, but if you want to say that you've seen me in Kingsport or Rogersville, so be it. But I don't want anybody to, if they see me on a country road or a specific piece of property, I can't have somebody telling this on social media. Unfortunately, I can't stop it, but I would think that common sense would tell people, hey, we don't want to give, if this is a killer's case, we don't want to give them the upper hand by coming back and moving this individual or some piece of pertinent evidence to a spot that where we mark it off, never to be gone back to again until somebody decides to go back and either build a house or,
So everybody definitely understands what he's saying, right? For sure. I've talked about this over and over again. I've said it. Oh, the Advocacy Center. Thank you. Thank you, Moonflower. The Child's Advocacy Center. Now, let me tell you guys something else that was pretty messed up, too. It was like they had Churchill Rescue had put up a GoFundMe for a new vehicle. The vehicle that they had that they were supposed to be using, for medical runs and things like that, had just went kaput or something. But yes, they did put up a GoFundMe to help them with that. So I personally didn't think a whole lot about it, but some people were like, yeah, why is he doing that or whatever. I'm sure that his department did take a big hit when they did all of these things to make sure that the organization of individuals searching for summer, that everybody had what they needed. And I just kind of feel like Tim Coop didn't get the pat on the back that he really deserved. He really deserved it, you guys. Whether people think so or not, he did.
This, that, or the other. So it's very pertinent that, we are going to be visible. We are going to be out there. All we ask is that just don't put out where we are at the time that you see us.
And it's a very interesting. Okay, give me 1 second, you guys. Please give me 1 second. Okay, you guys. Sorry, I had to take a moment. So this is what I want to say about EquiSearch. Now, if you watch the Chris McDonough interview that is being done at the swim hole, the watering hole, whatever, everybody calls it something different, I think. Robin Lane is also there. And Robin is walking around with her daughter, and I guess, I don't know if she's walking the dog. She's letting her daughter walk Chris McDonough's dog or something. I don't know. EquuSearch was there. Now, if I remember Chris McDonough, he's like, we didn't know EquuSearch was going to be there. So Robin Lane takes a picture with EquuSearch. Candace doesn't, but Robin Lane does. That's how we knew that EquuSearch was at the horse pond, because I believe Robin posted it, that she was with EquuSearch. Other than that, we wouldn't have known. Somebody ended up posting it. Other than that, we wouldn't have known that they were even there that day too. Oh, hold on. Come on. Hold on, I got a short in my... Hold on. I got to get my other monitor on. There we go. Okay, good. She went missing the day of the crying photo. Crying photo. The day you talking about? Yes, he did say that Summer used to love climbing around on the roof. Did you never get on a roof when you were little? I climbed up on my granddaddy's roof and got a rusty nail right underneath my kneecap. And it hurt. Okay, so yes, so Robin was at the interview that Chris McDonough did with Candace at the swim hole, and she did take a picture with EquuSearch. So that's how I knew that EquuSearch was in that area looking. So what does that tell you guys? That area was definitely being looked at, right?
And everything will be fine.
It's an important message because we are all in this together. We want to work together as a team. And Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, you need the public to work in cognizance, like together with you. We need cooperative, everyone's got to cooperate here. And if we have friction going on, it's going to hurt.
See this giant check? This is what you should be getting after a car accident, but
I do not see a check, mister.
It hurt Summer.
Right, Summer Wells.
Yeah, that's all you're hurting. You're not hurting me. You're not hurting anybody except the individual that we're looking for. So, and I'm not saying, if you want to help out, go check your property, go check your deer stands, your field cams.
Right, trail
Those
cam.
are the kind of things that you can sit there and go back and check. And if you see something that doesn't look right, then contact local authorities and let them decipher it. But don't just sit there and some of the tips that come in are just, don't. Anything could be pertinent. I mean, nothing should be taken off. But I mean, realistically, think about it before. Does this make sense before I call it?
Right. Yeah.
Thank you. Making sense. Like I said, week 3, there was like 600 tips. 600 tips. I'd like a check too, Moonflower. I ain't seeing no check. A lot of okay. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna zip it just for a minute. Okay, here we go.
I reached out to Tim Coop and I sent him a message. I told him I was going to interview you tonight, and I gave him the invite, but I know he is too busy with this stuff. I didn't expect him to come, but I just wanted to give him the opportunity because I thought with both of you here, it might have increased the message.
would've.
But just hearing you say it is enough because you're so well respected. The organization, the search and rescue operation that you guys conduct is top notch, and the numbers don't lie. You guys have brought so much closure to so many families. And like you said, you brought families together that are now working together with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, families of victims are now working with you because they see the excellent work that you've done. Bill, I know you're chomping at the bit. You got anything to put in here?
I don't know. It has, everyone has heard about this red Toyota pickup truck
Here we go.
that allegedly was seen in the area around June 15th. Is there any further information on that, or can you verify that it's still being looked at, or has it been eliminated? What's the investigative talk with that?
From what I understand, they're still looking for that red Toyota.
And the date on this, let me go back to the date, July 19th. July 19th, you guys. 2021.
And it was alleged by a neighbor locally in that local area, like one of the surrounding neighbors. They didn't specify who, and I would imagine that they want to keep that close because they don't want that person being harassed or people going to him and asking him questions, him or her. But whatever the case may be, it has to be for a good reason, and we have to respect it and just sit back and say, hey, if you see something like this, call it into the 1-800-TBI-FIND tip line. And I will link that also down in the description. And I'm going to link the Civis Bank for donations for the reward money. We have donated $500 from the Duty Ron.
Okay, this is interesting. The way duty, and this just could be, and I agree with Dave Radar, and a lot of stuff that was going on, especially in the beginning of Summer's case, in so many different ways, it could have hurt Summer. It could have. It could have hurt her. It could have hurt finding her. As many people who they was up there on that hill, anything is just possible to where she might be.
Yeah, that's all you're hurting. You're not hurting me. You're not hurting anybody except the individual that we're looking for. So, and I'm not saying, if you want to help out, go check your property, go check your deer stands, your field cams.
Right, trail
Those are the kind of things that you can sit there and go back and check. And if you see something that doesn't look right, then contact local authorities and let them decipher it. But don't just sit there and some of the tips that come in are just, anything could be pertinent. I mean, nothing should be taken off. But I mean, realistically, think about it before. Does this make sense before I call it in?
Right. Yeah, I reached out to Tim Coop and I sent him a message. I told him I was going to interview you tonight, and I gave him the invite, but I know he is too busy with this stuff. I didn't expect him to come, but I just wanted to give him the
I don't think after the way people kind of said shit about Tim, I don't think he's ever done an interview with anybody. I don't know though. I don't know.
opportunity because I thought with both of you here, it might have increased the message. But just hearing you say it is enough because you're so well respected. The organization, the search and rescue operation that you guys conduct is top notch, and the numbers don't lie. You guys have brought so much closure to so many families, and like you said, you brought families together that are now working together with you. Yeah, families of victims are now working with you because they see the excellent work that you've done. Bill, I know you're chomping at the bit. You got anything to put in here?
I don't know. It has, everyone has heard about this red Toyota pickup truck that allegedly was seen in the area around June 15th. Is there any further information on that, or can you verify that it's still being looked at, or has it been eliminated? What's the investigative talk with that?
From what I understand, they're still looking for that red Toyota.
And it was reported, alleged by a neighbor locally in that local area, like one of.
It was reported on by a neighbor. Where did it? Okay, so I thought it was a delivery driver that had seen somebody in the area. Now, don't forget, this is early on. When Chris McDonough did that interview with Robin Lane, she had went through and X'd out all of the pictures of what the red truck could look like. When Chris asked her about that, she said that someone on Facebook told her that they were not looking for that truck anymore. Remain Calm's question was, who on Facebook told you the truck wasn't being looked at anymore, Robin? Who would do that, Robin, that you would listen to? Who would do that, I wonder? All righty then, moving on.
The surrounding neighbors. They didn't specify who, and I would imagine that they want to keep that close because they don't want that person being harassed or people going to him and asking him questions, him or her. But whatever the case may be, it has to be for a good reason, and we have to respect it. And
him or her.
And just sit back and say, hey, you know, if you see something like this, call it into the 1-800-TBI find tip line. And I will link that also down in the description. And I'm going to link the Civis Bank for donations for the reward money. We have donated $500 from the Duty Ron Crime Time channel to that reward early on. And I had the college student who, 19 years old, sophomore in college in East Tennessee, he put up $2,000 of his own dollars. I had him.
$2,000 of his own money. He is talking about Trevor Lee. The Trevor Lee. Now, let me tell you something. Being so young and getting involved in that way, you know, I commend him for that. That was a really good thing that he did. And there were a couple people who had donated, but they were keeping the money and they were going to give it out, you know, when the time came. So, yeah, I'm not going to get into dollar amounts. But yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people's heard of Trevor. So I'm not going to say anything else.
Here on the show, it's just a way of showing, you know, humanity coming together and putting our resources together to find a common goal, and that's find Summer Wells. Tim Miller, the founder of EquiSearch. I just want to talk a little bit about him. I know he had a health scare. I want a lot of the folks here have been asking questions about him. Is he okay? I spoke to his office today, and they said he's on the mend and he's recovered.
Okay. I mean, yes, you guys should go in and we'll have to do a live on EquiSearch itself. Hang on. That's Orson. Let's go to Dave answers some questions.
If you're experiencing excess anxiety or
I have excess anxiety all the time. Thank you for asking, though. I'm glad you care. Okay.
That's why I reached out to Coop and I said, this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. So we have a checks and balances that he will get mapping when I'm finished, and then he will share that with TBI, FBI, and also with Ronnie, with his sheriff's department. And let me say, Ronnie has got some fantastic individuals on that. It's a small department, but I'll tell you what, boy, did they sit there and welcome us with open arms.
That's awesome. You know, and a small town sheriff like that is not used to seeing a case on this grand stage like this. You got an idea?
And people think that Ronnie Lawson doesn't care about Summer. And that is absolutely, in my opinion, not true. Not true. Yeah, Jody has something to say about that. I clipped it, I think, because what she said, I really felt was true. So
idea of how many members? Because I've looked high and low and I can't find anything about, do they have 20, 30 sheriffs, or is it smaller? Is it like 3, 4?
I think that they're up around 30 to 40 from what I was told. So I think he's kind of, I mean, it's a small county.
It's Hawkins. Yeah. Hawkins County.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 30 or 40, and you got so much ground to cover. It's a tough on taking. Anything from Leslie Earhart from the TBI or the lead detective that we saw in that piece? I'm talking about from when you guys were there the first time. Anything from them?
No. Again, we had, again, my main contact was through Coop and EMA, and then they would filter it into the investigation end of what we covered. So it was, like I said, it was a well-oiled machine, from, in all law enforcement agencies, the whole, everybody, the FBI, TBI, Hawkins County, they all sat down every single day and was communicating with each other what they had. So then we knew what the next step was going to do and how we were going to attack it.
I was very impressed with the question. Bill and I spoke about this before you showed up in the green room while we were preparing for the show. I was impressed by your answer to what Bill asked you. He asked about what was the structure of when you arrived on the set the first time. Was it chaos? And I was very happy to hear that it was organized and things were put together, and they were outside of the church and they had the whole property there. I'm assuming you guys were over there, right, for debriefing and things of that nature, no?
Yeah, we were, that was our command center. That was the heartbeat of what we were doing. That was what we worked out of. It was small, but it accommodated everything that we could ever ask for. The whole county down there, the cell phone service was horrible.
Wow.
We had very little communication. Matter of fact, I didn't even have, in some parts of going to the command center, I didn't even have satellite radio. That's how remote we were.
He had no communication. Don Wells said he spoke to Candace Wells. I'm assuming they were on Messenger, because when Candace went to call 911, she had to get her mom's phone to call 911. So on her phone, I'm assuming she was talking to Don like on Messenger. Don said he spoke to Candace all the way home. But then he contradicts that because he says, I didn't hear back from Candace, so he didn't know if she'd been found or not until he goes to pull up and the neighbors are out looking. And he said when the neighbors were out looking that he knew. But he said he knew Candace had been looking in the house and at the top of the hill. We can get into everybody, and what they think about him going to the shed first. We'll do that another time. Well, this is the thing. We don't have the initial 911 calls. All we have is the dispatch call. And at that time, they said, even if they say they've looked in the house, you look in the house. These people were on it, you guys. They were on it. They didn't play around. Dawn, I kept telling him she wasn't here. Okay, well, let's not look for her then. Let's not make an attempt to see, because you're telling us that you don't know where your daughter is. You're telling us that you were at work. So, I believe my wife. what he said.
They actually
Crap.
brought in portable boosters from AT&T and Verizon, portable boosters, and set it on the command center's parking lot in order.
AT&T and Verizon, real clap. Real clap. Everyone. There were so many different organizations and things like that that were coming together to help in a situation to look for a little girl. They all stepped up.
order for us to just be able to kind of get out a little bit further.
Wow.
So that's how remote that we truly were.
So you were working UHF or VHF? VHF is for short distance. You were using probably UHF to
Yeah,
communicate.
we were using police and fire channels,
Right.
and then we would go to the private channels, and so media couldn't, in case something was found, we had checks and balances as far as codes that
Right.
we used.
Excellent. I want to say thank you to everyone also to the continuation of the Super Chat, retired Sergeant Melinda, the interview room, Chris McDonough, who else? Suzanne Fortier, $50.
That's cool.
Marie, thank you. God bless you all, and bring Suzanne.
Chris McDonough was even in there, you guys. That is so cool. That is so cool. I am always I am happy for people. I'm happy for people who aren't even happy for themselves.
Can I get that off your Facebook, Dave, or is it on
Yeah,
your?
we're under the EchoSearch Midwest. That's our Facebook and also our website.
And the PayPal link will be in there, right?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
folks,
you
I
guys
will
go
link
check
that
it
here
out.
down below in the description. The direct official PayPal for David's organization.
Thank you.
I encourage you all to part in this case. We want to keep them with valid information, but we also want to keep you guys
information.
safe. And it's such an on-taking that, you know, you don't need to be looking over your shoulder and worrying about, hey, the good things that I'm doing, is it now going to be going to, you know, on the wayside? So
Okay. All right. I'm going to end that there. Now, I do have another one. It's on July 29th. So this was after that. And I believe this is the one. I don't know if Dave talks about, what is he talking about? Twyla's in this one. Okay, I am going to pop over to this one really quick, you guys. Twyla's in this one. We're going to go through it quick, though. I'm not going to go through it real slow. This is Duty Ron 2. Let me throw his link in there really quick, you guys. Sorry, Duty Ron. I might have already put it in, but I'm going to put it in again. Now, we'll go through this one a little quicker. That way I can just get them off of my list there. Now, Twyla talks more about the area, you guys. Okay? She talks more about the area. And it is very interesting. Duty Ron, Duty Ron. Do run, 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 do run, run. I couldn't help myself, Duty Ron. I apologize. So, what do you guys think so far? Right? What do you think so far? I mean, listening to Dave, Candace's story doesn't make sense. And it never did. She was just adding, her and Dawn were just adding stuff as they went. Right? There were times when you could hear, you watched a creator talking about something, and then all of a sudden, here would come Dawn, and, you know, he would have to give them an answer or whatever. I mean, it was crazy. It was all crazy. All right. I am going to speed this up. I've been on here 2.5 hours. So, should I start this or not? Yeah, I want to get through it. For sure. Okay.
They're a legit group. We didn't have any issues with them the first time, and I can't confirm or deny we've had any issues the second time, just because I'm not sure what all they ended up completing or what they ended up doing. Okay.
Okay, wait. I want to hear that. Let's see who he's talking to. I'm not sure who Duty Ron's talking to, but let's find out.
Jump back in. With it still being active investigation.
Okay, hold on. Duty Ron's on the phone with somebody. Who is it, Duty Ron? Okay. All right. Like I said, this one's older. It's right after the one I just showed you. Okay. I don't know who he's talking to. Let's see if we can find out. Just say, shut up. Shut up, RC.
Who subscribe and positively interact in the live streams. Listen, we have some of the greatest folks in the true crime community here. I got to say, sometimes we talk about things that may not, you may not agree with,
Yes.
but at the end of it all, we respect everybody's side and what you feel and what you think.
Yes.
As long as it's said with respect and you're not being
Thank
disrespectful, your comments, your
Real
input,
clap.
your thoughts on cases are always welcome here. Again, all of the monetization that comes in on this live stream and all previous live streams gets donated and forwarded to Midwest Texas Equisearch, to the Ohio
Nice.
chapter, and I will link all of their information down below. But before I get started, I want to play an interview that was made on July 27th of 2021. Churchill Rescue Squad Captain
July 27th, 2021.
Tim Coop went
Tim
on with a
Coop.
local Tennessee local news, and he made some statements. And the statements that he made were less than what happened. And Dave asked me to kindly have him on, and I'm going to definitely
Okay, here
play
we
this for
go.
you guys. Just let me know if you could hear it by putting a 1 in the chat
This
while
is
I play
Tim
it.
Coop.
So I'm going to let this roll. This is going to.
This is after Dave came out and praised him, right? Dave did. He praised him for doing a wonderful job.
be just about 5 minutes. So I want you guys all in the chat here to listen to this interview. This is a news reporter interviewing Captain Tim Coop from the Churchill Rescue Squad. He was in charge of the search for Summer Wells. He's no longer in charge. It's now the
Here's
Hawkins
the
County Sheriff's
interview.
Office. So let me know if you hear this.
There's nothing in necessary general fashion or anything that come up within the case for that to happen. It seemed like there was just some confusion going on. From the day we go back, yes, if some search, if the Sheriff's Department or somebody needed a search performed, that would be done through our agency due to it being our primary coverage area. But the additional agencies want to come back in, with it still being active investigation, with it all being private land over there. But again, there's no public land, it's all private. With those things being done, we felt as an agency that it could be better for any other searchers that want to come in and search agency-wise, not private, but strictly like equal searches that come in and all that. Yeah. Those to go through the Sheriff's Department. Okay. All right. And that's all that was because it still seems the interpretation was that I was still instant command status of search operations for the case. Okay. And that's true and untrue at the same time. It's kind of fine lines where we're not actually over there as we were the first 13 days. I guess that's the title of instant commander's kind of out of that. So where it come up, it would go through me. I would orchestrate that to be performed. So I guess maybe one way of looking at it is you're the incident commander if the sheriff calls you back out there, but those other groups that go out there, you're not affiliated with them and have no authority over them. Well, in essence, yes, I guess you could say that. When these groups come back in on their own, wanting to perform searches or do whatever they're doing on their own, yeah, we have no authority over them. And that's kind of one of those things is, yeah, they check in with us and that's they can do it. Ultimately, they need to go through the Sheriff's Department.
Okay, all Tim Coop is saying that at this time, he's not the after 13 days, he wasn't like the incident commander anymore. So then the searchers who came back in were to go through the sheriff's office. Okay. And it seems like because he was the incident commander, that maybe some organizations, when they were coming back out to see if they could, either look at maybe an area prior that they had looked at or something like that, a lot of them were probably calling Tim Coop. Okay. And basically what it seems like here is he's just saying, yes, I was incident commander, within 13 days or something. And at this time, I'm not. And they need to go back through the sheriff's department. A lot of that was due to there was a lot of private land. A lot that was left was private land. That's what it seems like to me he's saying.
On the investigation, right? That's something to them because once again, it's private land. With that being said, with private land, not knowing what they went back over, talked to people they've talked to, it just opens up for too many more issues. And they decide to get out of their vehicle on foot and start trudging around searching again, walk up on people's property. This all needs to go to the sheriff's department from the law enforcement side. Where you defer trespassing, you don't have to worry about none of that. You just
go through the sheriff's department. We don't want people getting trespassed or anything like that. So I don't see anything wrong with what he's saying.
It'll head off any type of issues, and they will know who's going back over there involved in the area where they still have ongoing active investigation. Did that Equus group, did they contact you and ask for any kind of permission or authorization to go back over there? They contacted us. They reached out to me to see if they could come back to do the same thing presented last time, which what they were doing was supposed to be strictly out of their vehicle, not any out searching around on the ground, stuff like that. And as for a day, I ran it by the sheriff's department. They said that was fine, that they wouldn't need anybody from the sheriff's department themselves. And with that being said, it was okay. They said they were going to give me all information and stuff for what places they were going to be searched, myself and the sheriff's department. And as I'm aware of, as of earlier today, neither my agency nor the sheriff's department received anything. Okay. So whatever they've done is best.
Okay, so he's saying that that kind of doesn't make sense because if he's not the active main guy, if he's not the active, you know what I'm saying, command person, then why would EquiSearch need to send him anything, right? Everything's supposed to go through the sheriff's department, right? Okay. Well, anyhow, he's, I don't know, Tim Coop.
Weekend they've done and orchestrated and they've kept all that to themselves. I don't know what they ended up doing. Right. So, I mean, I know what they told me they were going to do, but I've never seen anything back showing or stating what exactly they've done. Okay. So I guess past Friday, I knew they were in town on Friday. I got notification that while I was at work. Past that, they said they keep me informed and they let me know when they were gone and turn all that stuff over, and I've yet to hear from them. So I guess the biggest takeaway from the comment you made in your press release is that anybody that's going to get out there and do a search, they need to go to the sheriff's office. And still yet, speaking with the sheriff yesterday after the budget committee here for the technician meeting, there's still nobody in the sheriff's department, rescue squad, nobody has asked for requesting private people, individuals to get their search. This is strictly for agencies that were already involved in the search. So actual other rescue squads, fire departments, specialized search crews, stuff like that. There were agencies and affiliations with agencies that were already here. They're wanting to return to assist. They're all go to the sheriff's office to ensure that they're all right with them going back out where they want to where they don't interfere. The biggest thing is not interfering with the investigation. Right.
Common sense. As long as it's not interfering with the investigation. I don't hear him saying anything bad. I mean, really. I don't honestly think Don knows, but I think he is naive to believe Candace would tell him the truth. If she hurt Summer, she would have to disclose drinking and smoking with a teenage boy. I think she did come out and say that she gave Hunter that twisted tea. I thought she did. I could be wrong. You know, I could be wrong. But yeah, that's a whole conversation in itself because, yeah, I mean, for sure. Let me put it this way. In my opinion, do I think either one of them know exactly where she's at right now? I would be surprised, but we really don't know. Yet I look at them and the individuals that they associated with, individuals that they were letting up at 110 Ben Hill Road. And my feeling is, yes, they were letting some unsavory characters up to 110 around their children. I do believe that. And this may sound stupid, but who allows a man that you don't know this guy, allegedly, he comes from a different state and has mental problems and does not want to go back, and you're like, come to my house. I've got 2 little boys and a little girl at my house. My husband's in Utah with my oldest son. Come to my house. It will be therapeutic for you, right? Like it's a fucking rehab center. Oh, Lord, don't get me started. Okay, we got 15 minutes. So why don't we pick up here tomorrow? Oh, I want you guys to hear what Twyla and Dave say, though. Okay, let's just get Dave up here. Okay, you guys, here we go.
Roku self-serve.
Let's listen to a little bit of it. Thank you, Duty Ron. I appreciate Duty Ron.
And boom, Tuesday morning or Monday night into Tuesday, this comes down. Just walk the viewers through some of your communication and conversation with Captain Coop.
All right, so we, originally we started with the search with them about 4 or 5 days into it with Coop. And again, the man was doing a phenomenal job with orchestrating so many teams, so many different law enforcement agents from the state on up. So the rapport was very good. We felt very comfortable. I felt that they felt very comfortable with us. So, we, towards the end there, we all had to leave. We stopped the search, but it still kind of aided a few of our people that were down there. It's like, we need to expand this a little bit more. And I know that they were having budget problems as far as with money's concerned. And, again, with us being a nonprofit and with people that we have, it wasn't going to cost them a dime. So I decided to reach out to Coop again and to tell him what we were going to do. This was all done through conversation through text. So, every time that I would try to call the man, he would defer me that he was busy, but we communicated through text, which was fine. Then there was kind of a silent period, and then, then we picked back up as far as, hey, we really want to do this. And after the forethought on this, as far as putting everything together in a game plan so I could present to him in a professional and organized manner, which was always what we do. We have a game plan going into this, so we're just not haphazardly doing things. We had a hell of a game plan to go into this with the individuals we took down. So, we finally got the okay from him. He was going to be the liaison between ourselves and law enforcement. So then that way there was going to be no miscommunication, with what he said this, and then but then I talked to the sheriff over here. So everything went through Coop because he was still the IC. So we thought that was the proper way to do things and continue on with what they had already, the structure that they already put into place. So then I got down there late Thursday night and started kind of thinking about some things and looking around. And then Friday, I had a few of my top girls come in and do the recon while I was doing media, and they were out there reconning and going over the things that we wanted to see. We wanted to see it firsthand. I mean, everything was great on Google Earth, but as we know, when you get out in the real world from Google Earth, it looks totally different. So my girls were on the ground on Friday. I tried calling Coop. He was busy again. I told him, I said, look, we're here. I will keep you up to date as far as what's going on. Again, Saturday we executed everything. Had a hell of a good day as far as ground cover. Everybody was comfortable with what we've done, where we were. No snafus. Nobody called in to complain about us. Everything was peachy. We had a kind of like a team meeting on Saturday, and then Sunday morning before everybody left, we all still felt that there were still more areas to go through. I stayed until Monday because I just had some defragging to do, some thinking about some things, and I didn't want to go home and think about it. So if I was there and I thought about it, I wanted to go and look at it. So, after that long weekend, I drove home on Monday, and then all of a sudden, and again, it takes a little bit of time for paperwork. So I didn't think that, again, we didn't.
And it does take time for paperwork. It takes time for paperwork. I couldn't imagine doing the paperwork on where I went searching for a little girl. It's probably a lot. And I know you guys are getting bored with this. I'm getting Twyla up here, I promise.
Find anything that's pertinent enough that, again, if we see anything pertinent, we will absolutely call law enforcement immediately. It's not like we're holding on to anything. Look, our reputation speaks for itself on this.
Yes, sir.
So the next thing I know, I'm getting blown up with, he did an interview and stating that we were withholding information and our paperwork, and that was the furthest thing from the truth. I mean, I didn't understand where this come from. I reached out again through text. I told him that, look, I'll have it to him. I didn't find out until late Tuesday. Where the hell did he even send the paperwork to? I didn't get that until 6:30 on Tuesday. Well, meantime, he's never reached out to me and said, hey, how did it go? Nobody has ever reached out to us and say, hey, welcome aboard. Thank you for coming back. Not one person from law enforcement, which I did expect. We didn't need law enforcement there. They're having a whole, again, with the budget, I didn't want to take a patrol officer off of the street to walk around with me because we have checks and balances, what we do. So I didn't need anybody to, I'm just going to use the word babysit us, and I know that that's probably going to sound wrong, but we didn't need anybody with us. We've been through this hundreds of times. So, next thing I know, we're having to defend ourselves that, in the light that, we're withholding information, and by all means, we were not. We got their paperwork Wednesday, and then yesterday morning, I believe, we literally sat there and gave him all of our tracks. He forwarded it over to not only himself, but over to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. So everybody's on board. I think it was just some sort of miscommunication. But again, I guess I wish that he would have, and I told him this even through text, and I think that he even admits it, is that we should have communicated a hell of a lot better.
Right. I'm showing a photograph of the very first time you guys went down there, and this was probably June.
I would say at this time was when Tim Coop was not happy with Hawkins County at all. Okay. He felt that the EMS services did not receive the support from the county that they should have. So that was kind of like a thing right there. Okay. Let me get Twyla up here because I know y'all are getting sick of me. I am getting sick of myself. Twyla tells us, okay, hold on. Let me see. In regards to the article that are being circulated surrounding the Hawkins County, I'm Coop was cleared by Hawkins County. I don't know what that says, but I'm not going to get into a fight with, see, that's what Remain Calm says. So, that just started kind of being Coop saying things. I believe it was a misunderstanding. Okay, so this is Twyla, you gues.
And Twyla has really, she's been with us a couple years now, and I'll tell you what a godsend she is. She has really stepped up to the plate to take on more and more. She's like a damn little sponge. She'll sit there and literally she takes this and and runs with it. And, we've had our beefs just like me and Tim have, and, we bang heads every once in a while. But at the end of the day, she knows that I respect the hell out of her, and I couldn't do this without her because she covers a lot of territory. She not only covers Tennessee for me, but she has also taken on cases in Alabama, and also she was a very instrumental part over in finding the lady over in Jonesboro, Arkansas last year. So,
Wow.
she has done a
You
fantastic
go,
job,
girl.
and
You go, Twyla.
and she'll continue to do so.
Thank you, Dave. Twyla, I'm going to go full screen with you. I want you to just let the audience know there's almost
Excuse
2,000
me.
people here watching. Let them know what you do for Midwest Texas,
Thank you,
Midwest Equisearch, the Ohio
Moonflower.
chapter.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I try my best to do everything I possibly can to help with the missing. When I started with this organization, I literally shadowed Dave for days and days and days at a time to try to learn as much as I possibly can, to do what we do to find these missing people, because that's what it's about. It's not easy, and it's very hard, and it can really pull on your heartstrings big time, especially with it being summers. And, some of us have kids, so we're out there crying our eyes out. We try to treat each case like it's our loved one, and it's not easy, but we try our best to do what we can do to give families closure and try to bring these missing people home to their loved ones.
Yeah, Twyla, and I want to say thank you to you first and foremost, because
too,
Twyla
Twyla.
was responsible for sending some of the footage that we got to see. Some of the search footage that was so bird's eye for
We'll
people
look
who
at
are
that
just watching
too.
outside the United States or
I'll
within the
pull
United
that up
States.
at a
So
different
she was
time.
not only down at the search location, but she was going to her phone and sending me little files of searches. And that was really a great education for some of the folks who are, not privy or don't know what goes on in these searches and what type of, adversity that you face when you search. Do you want to talk just a little bit about, and then I'm going to add in my next guest, talk a little bit about what you guys faced this weekend that just passed?
Well, I'll tell you what we started out
Here
with
we
on
go.
Friday, which was very scary but exciting at the same time. Me and another teammate was out doing recon, as Dave mentioned, and I seen my very first live real bear out there. And I told my teammate, I was like, oh my gosh, look, there's a bear. It scared us half to death, but at the same time, it was exciting. I mean, there's snakes. It's thick out there. It was so hot. And I'm telling you, one of our teammates, she cut her arm up really, really good out there. But it's something we like to do. We would do it again in a heartbeat. Several of us has got bruises up and down our legs and on our arms. But it's what we do. It's like, we want to do it. We want to bring them home.
Right. That's the thing, is that people don't understand is that you guys are all.
Twyla seen her first bear. Hey, Gypsy Queen. Absolutely. I'm going to pin your comment. Justice for Summer. Justice for Summer. And I know it's boring, you guys, where I'm starting out at, but I just think it's really important that you hear from people who they didn't insert themselves into Summer's investigation. They were invited in, and they did what they do. They were looking for Summer. I think when you're an organization and you can take the investigative part out of it, and your tunnel vision is on finding someone, finding them, if that makes any sense.
Volunteers. Nobody's getting paid. You're not getting a paycheck at the end of the day. You traveled from down close to the border of Alabama, good old Alabama, and you came up all the way to Eastern Tennessee, and you're a mom. You have a lot of responsibility, and it is just unbelievable to see folks like yourself. It makes me really, really come back to humanity, and it enforces how good humans are. We see so much bad because you guys are out there looking for missing. You're looking for people who are missing and presumed dead. And that's the line, and that's the divide that we have. It helps to bridge that gap of evil and good. And that's why I really love what you guys do. And when Dave was on with Tim the other night, there was some tear shed, because they were talking about Tim's daughter, Laura, and he was also talking about how this tugs at our hearts.
You guys definitely go watch Duty Ron and his coverage with Equisearch. It is really cool. Thanks, Deb. I know, Deb. I can't stay on here much longer.
because when you do make a recovery,
And I hope this is
and
alive.
you're not a
where
cyborg,
Twyla
you're not a
talks
computer, you're
about
not a
being
machine,
in
you're
the
a human
area.
being. Again, talk about some of the things that go on with you guys and the way you pull each other through when you have these recoveries.
We start out each of our searches by giving each other a hug, and before we leave at the end of the day, we give each other a hug. And if we're out there and we do, recover someone, our teammates, let me tell you, it's a big group of angels, and we stick together and we do this side by side. And if one of us is struggling, the one beside us, they'll step in, and we have a really good group of people, and we appreciate every single thing that Dave does to teach us so that we're able to go out there and do what we do. And I can't say enough good things about the people on our organization because they are true angels. And I'm going to get all emotional here because that's what we are.
Yeah, I tell you, and it just goes to show you that, we're all human. It's like I said, we get involved and we get.
And these people, these searchers, Twyla had actually, I know she talked to Candace. She probably talked to Dawn and Candace together. I know that Dave had spoke with Dawn. And I'm not sure what the disagreement was, you guys. I'll have to find it. I know I've got it somewhere. But Dave had to tell Dawn he didn't care about the bullshit. It was about Summer.
Emotionally attached to these things, even as police officers, a lot of people say we're very jaded. Homicide. He is a wonderful guest and a friend up there. You need a tissue? Maybe you want me to take you off?
I'm okay.
Remove her from the screen.
my newest best friend is Twyla. We talk a lot now too.
She's bigger than I am.
I want you guys to talk about what type of reception you received this weekend from the great people of Rogersville and Hawkins County, wherever you guys were. I don't even know what counties you were in. I don't want to know. But talk to Dave first about some of the reception that you received, and I'll go to Twyla after.
Good Lord, like I said before, Ron, it was, you talk about Southern hospitality was at its best. I mean, like I said, if we would get gas or if we went into a restaurant, thank you for everything that you do. Bring that little girl home. It was nothing but a positive feedback. And it was just overwhelming to see people that don't even know you. And again, that's how powerful this is with Summer. Is that
Yes.
they want their little baby back. This is the community's little child. I know it's Don and Candace's, but it's almost like the community has adopted this little girl, and they want the best to bring her home. And good Lord, it's almost like a Debbie Downer when you can't fulfill that obligation that you're trying to do, and you feel like you're letting so many people down. But the community aspect of this was just absolutely phenomenal. So
The community wanted Summer home. We all want Summer home. And like I said, I know you guys are bored right now because I know there's some juicy stuff that, these scallywags have done and things that they have said, etc., etc. And I promise we're going to get to that. There are a lot of other channels besides Duty Ron that you can watch that talk about Summer. Please feel free to do that. Watch, whatever you need to. I always just tried to stay with a lot of the law enforcement aspect of it. And I know that law enforcement isn't telling us anything, but sometimes they are telling us something that we're just not really hearing what they're saying for real. But absolutely, everybody is not a bad person in Hawkins County. Okay? I know it seems like that because we have pretty much did not me personally, but background checks on everybody's been put out there for a while. So, we know a lot of the bad apples for sure.
While she talked about this, I mean, she was very instrumental with two individuals that took damn good care of us. So, while you can talk about those two individuals.
Trudy and Chris, He's a retired CI, I believe. But
These are the investigators. Dawn and Candace's investigators. Chris and Trudy. So Twyla's speaking on Chris and Trudy.
Aspect of this was just absolutely phenomenal. So, Twyla, she talked about this. I mean, she was very instrumental with two individuals that took damn good care of us. So, Twyla, you can talk about those two individuals.
Trudy and Chris, he's a retired CI, I believe. But this lady reached out to Dave, and he put me in contact with her. And let me tell you something, that lady, she took care of our needs as food, water, our coffee was taken care of, our breakfast was taken care of. And she said, I want to do anything that I can possibly do so that all y'all have to worry about is what y'all are here for. And we were there for summer. There was nothing that lady would let us do. She wanted to make sure every single need we needed, she wanted to take care of it. So
now a little tidbit on Trudy, because this is just something that pops into my head. Some people felt that that her relationship with Candace was not a professional relationship. I'm not saying that they were doing the deed. Don't even go there with that. I'm just saying some people felt that she got a little bit too close to, to Candace especially.
We could focus on what we were there for.
That is truly a beautiful thing. And that's exactly what I was hoping to hear, because, I never asked you guys this question. I saved it here for the show. We talk every day, and I think we have so much important things to talk about. But this is another important aspect of showing how great the community is over there, where this tragedy, this kid missing is a tragedy. We don't know what happened to her. We don't know where she is. We don't know who the perpetrators are. We have our thoughts and our feelings on that. We've all expressed it and talked about it. But at the end of the day, this is a shining light for that community. Rogersville, Tennessee, Hawkins County, Sullivan County, all the adjoining counties that encompass that area. You folks, I tip my cap to all of you guys from the great state of Tennessee for coming out and being great human beings. Brings me to my next point, Dave, I want to talk to you about. I know that it's important for you guys, and Bill, I know you're going to chomp at the bit on this one. It's important for EquiSearch in all of their missions to make contact with the family.
Here we go.
Now, I have spoken to you about this privately because you and I communicated. You called me on Saturday, told me that you saw Candace down at the watering hole. Talk about how important it is to have that communication with a loved one that's missing, whether it's an adult, a child, and how you guys as a team do this.
Again, when we went down, and I know that there was some scuttlebutt as far as on, where we were and things like that. But let me just say one thing as far as when we went down to convene at the water hole, I wanted this entire team to come down to see that water hole of where little Summer went, possibly one of the last places that she was seen at. So I wanted everybody to see what was around it. We weren't there to search that area. There was no need to search that area, to be honest with you. But I wanted them to see it. And then as we were working backwards and thinking in our process, what was on the way out of there? So that's kind of where we were. So when we come rolling up, Candace was actually there doing an interview with another individual. And, we stayed back. We didn't want to get in their way. What I thought was kind of strange is that, here we have 15 of us standing there and kind of in a group, not staring at what they're doing, but kind of getting our game plan together. You would think that somebody would have come up, one of the, somebody, mainly Candace, would have came up to us and thanked us for coming and looking for her daughter. I find it kind of strange that she.
Okay. Does anybody think that that's not strange? It shouldn't matter. I mean, it is strange, right? You have 15 searchers out there, and the child's mother doesn't acknowledge you. She was talking to Chris McDonough. Robin went and got her picture taken, right? Why did she? Maybe she didn't. Well, I mean, she was answering questions for Chris McDonough, why I don't know. Weird, right? Candace, yeah, blew off Equisurge. Very strange.
She never made no attempt to reach out to us to do anything. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing, a bad thing, an indifferent thing. I'm not passing judgment on anybody. I just felt that it was kind of strange in all the years that I've been doing this and all the cases that I've gone. Every single parent or loved one has come up to us and embraced us and said thank you in some sort of fashion. So I thought it was kind of strange that she never did reach out and come over to us and thank us all. We would have absolutely gave that woman that group hug that Bill is so desiring.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I found it off-putting, and when you called me and you text me, you know, and then you called me and told me that, I was like, I was surprised, and you told me that you know it was a very small parking lot, what, 8 or 10 cars could park there.
There was, I mean, you know, it's maybe a 10. It's like a little semicircle that you could maybe get 10 to 12 cars in. It's not big. I mean, they knew we were there. That's for damn sure.
Right. You know, and I made a video a couple of days ago before I got sick. I got this really bad sinus infection, and I thought I had COVID, but it came out, the COVID test said negative, thank God. But the day before I got sick, as I was starting to feel sick, I think it was Tuesday, I made a video, and I mentioned this. And I got really hopped up because it really pissed me off that you don't need to come and bring baked goods. I know that they're, you know, they're not financially stable or whatever the case may be. They're not, you know, have the luxury where they can bring cases of water and spend lots of extra money. But a simple 2-word thank you and a hug, or even a high five. We're in COVID now, right? So people want to do these high fives. That's what is another red flag for me. Is if you truly are a loving parent, and I don't care what kind of personality you have.
And this is the thing, because if you go back and, you know, Candace says in the interview with Chris McDonough that she likes to come to that area because she doesn't have to mess with people. That's basically what she said. She doesn't have to deal with a bunch of people. For sure. That's what she said. She could go there. She could take the kids there. There wasn't a bunch of people there. Candace basically came out and said that she doesn't do good with communicating with adults, it sounds like, right? But you would have thought that she would have went and thanked them for sure.
Somebody's coming from another state to come and look for your daughter. It just is off-putting and odd that you wouldn't come over and say thank you to them. And it was not any issue about a search or coming up, because all you guys asked is that people don't take pictures, don't put it on social media, and don't say anything to anybody. Don't put it out there. Her coming.
Robin took the picture, and I'm pretty sure Robin put it out on social media.
Over to you would not jeopardize, and correct me if I'm wrong, anything that you were doing.
And we, not to, you know, interrupt, but we do want to thank that community and the areas that we were in, because we had no problems whatsoever with people taking pictures or nothing. They had the utmost respect for us everywhere we went in that community.
That's you know, the only one picture that I did allow, and it was at the swimming hole, and that was the Robin who was with Candace.
Okay.
Asked if she could get a group picture of us. And she literally held off from putting that on her Facebook page, I believe, until yesterday. So, I mean, yeah. I didn't mind it.
Okay, but Robin did put it out.
You know, it didn't hurt us one bit. It didn't tell us, even if we were there, it didn't really make a difference because we weren't searching it anywhere. The other thing that I want to do, Ron.
That picture was taken with all of you guys?
That is correct.
You, Robin, and your team?
Well, Robin took a selfie with the whole team, and I said it was fine to take it. She held off by putting it up on her her Facebook page. I think it was yesterday.
So she was at the watering hole with Candace and the person who was interviewing her.
And she thanked us from the bottom of her heart, from the whole community. She gave thanks to us.
Oh, right.
Well, Sunday school teacher for summer, and she was showing us. I mean, she was so damn proud of that necklace that Summer had given her. I mean, she was like a kid on Christmas Day. She couldn't, you know, she was just showing off I mean, it was a touching moment, to be honest with you.
Robin loved Summer. There's no doubt about it, you guys. Robin loved Summer. Are we going to get into some of her actions and different things that's made her look some type of way? Yeah, we are. I mean, for real. It's okay, Flies. I've been on here too long. I've been on here a long time. But yeah, Summer had given Robin a necklace and a bracelet, and I don't know if it had earrings or what. Actually had given it to her for, wasn't it Mother's Day? Like a Mother's Day gift? But yes, Robin had that necklace on when Chris McDonough interviewed her that day. She sure did. That was all the same day.
It was very, very emotional.
Could anybody tell me in the chat or send me on Facebook Messenger a link to Robin's page? Because I want to show that picture. Is that all right with you, Dave?
I don't think that.
Yes. Yeah, I do. I do.
Wait, somebody might do it. Is her name?
I think that Candace agreed to it if Robin could be there with her for support. For support. At one point in the interview with Chris McDonough, and I can't remember exactly what Candace was talking about at the time, but she made reference to her and Summer's relationship being like Robin and her daughter's relationship. She did. Hey, Lorianne Benoit.
Robin Lane, I think it is, right?
I can't remember her last name.
I believe it is.
Yeah.
Let me see
Hold
if I can.
But while we're sitting there, Ron, I want to thank, you're sitting, I'm sitting there thanking the community for being the way that they are. But I have to sit there and literally thank you from the bottom of my heart, from this organization standpoint, for you and Bill on everything that you have done for us as far as raising funds. I never came on here to ask for money, beg for money. It's not what this is all about. You have you and your generous group of followers.
And I don't push anything over here, but EquiSearch is a fine organization, I will say.
Have just been unbelievable. And I want to say thank you to each and every one that is watching and going to reach out later. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
One of the things you said to me, you said, yes, it was very well organized, and we were accepted right into the organization and given an assignment. And that is an indication that it's total bullshit that you were not, he didn't bring you in there. You were brought in there and they wanted you there. And to say now.
Well, I think too, Poppy, that I remember there was a phone conversation going on, and Candace in the background, Dawn was on the phone, and Candace said something about Robin being her best friend. And Dawn, he got really nasty and said, she's Summer's best friend. She's not your best friend. She's Summer's best friend. It was really weird.
Oh, they made the phone call to us to bring us in.
I got the call that Saturday afternoon and immediately called Dave. He stopped what he was doing and drove to Tennessee and was there before midnight to be there at 8 o'clock the next morning.
Wow.
Twyla, what I think it is that this is like politics going on behind the scenes. Someone is getting blamed for whatever is maybe it's not going quickly enough. Maybe they didn't do what they were asked to do, but they probably removed that guy, Tim Coop, because of politics, really. And I don't know. I can't comment 100% that he was doing the greatest job on earth because I wasn't there. But it seemed like he was doing a competent job. For whatever reason, he was removed. And it was now it's taken over by the sheriff's department, and that was probably a political decision.
I agree. Something had to have happened to where he was running this whole show, this whole operation, and then all of a sudden he's no longer something had to have
Yeah.
happened tremendously.
Right. So something happened where he was removed,
Yes.
and now he's demoted to, maybe a searcher instead of the CEO of the search group.
Right, the IC.
Either
Yeah.
way, it's an unfortunate situation, and it didn't have to be like that, because everything that EquiSearch did, and I'm going to circle back to it, everything that EquiSearch Midwest, the Ohio chapter, did was by the book.
And
Here's
it
the
was
picture.
paid for.
I'm going to go full screen so you guys can all see it.
That is a
Let
good
me take-
picture.
thank you for that super chat, Uno Who. Thank you for that $10 super chat. So this is the picture that we were talking about. Sunday school teacher. She took the selfie. That was right at the water
That
hole.
is a good picture.
There's the white pickup. It says Texas EquiSearch team, search team, Midwest EquiSearch, and there's the whole crew. So again, it was literally impossible for.
And none of these people are getting paid. Tim was removed when he asked for the funding money he was promised, and he didn't receive it. Yeah, I've actually got him talking to the I don't know what they were, community funding committee or whatever the hell it was, talking about where monies had basically disappeared that should have been funneled towards the Churchill rescue. And he said he basically didn't want to throw anybody under the bus, but they weren't getting any money. They weren't receiving anything to. That's basically what he was saying.
Candace, to not see you guys and to not go over there, to me, is a travesty of justice. But what a wonderful woman. She emulates goodness. I don't think that there's people that are like kind of crucifying this woman and saying that church people are no good. I get a good vibe from her. I think that all the folks from the church are good people. Again, I'm sure she went over to her and said, "Hey, all these people are over here," but she was predisposed with whatever she was doing at that time.
If Sid meant anything to her, Ron, I think that she would have excused herself. And
Yes.
the individual that was filming
Yes.
at the time, I think that should have
I
said to her,
agree.
"Hey, if you want to go over and say something to these guys since they're here searching, I think it would be a wonderful time to take."
No, it was the fucking, what are they called? I don't know what they're called. Commissioners, county commissioners, some shit like that. I find it strange that Ronnie Lawson was even a player in all this, almost like running interference and listening. RL, are you talking about? Wait, who's RL? Oh, yes. Yes, we are going to have a full-blown conversation. I'm going to go down the list. I promise. Eventually, we're going to have a list. Okay? I promise you. It will make sense in the end. I promise you. Have to go to them to get the money. Yeah. Yeah.
Break in, go over and like you say, just say thank you. We didn't have to hug. We didn't have to, do anything like that. Just some sort of an acknowledgement. But again, to have nothing, I'm with Bill. It just kind of, it doesn't rub me wrong, but it just, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
Very bizarre. And don't forget, Dave's already given his opinion that the story that Candace came out with does not make any sense on her daughter going missing at all.
Yeah, it is. Matt says SDA Sabbath is Saturday, not Sunday. SDA people are great. Appreciate that super chat. I'm not, an expert on religion, but I'm sure that everybody's, down there. Seems like everyone's good people. Again, I want this group here, EquiSearch Midwest chapter, to have this platform at any time to send out a message. And when Dave reached out to me and said, "Hey, Ron, of dogs, maybe bloodhounds, maybe cadaver dogs," her and I are gonna work together. And we're gonna grab somebody who has some good experience that's worked with these guys, and we are going to bring to you what the ground searchers do. And Twyla, if you can, because I know you and I spoke about
There
it,
we go.
tell the people how important and how good the ground searchers are.
Let me tell you, they're absolutely amazing. I'll give you an example. We were on a search up in Ohio, and if I had it right here with me, I'd show you. I found the cross. It was into pieces, so I found the cross. This is how in depth we are when we go in there to search. It was about this big, and it was broken into 2 pieces. And me and another team member from Arkansas actually found this, and it was in 2 different locations. And how we did it was absolutely amazing, because at that very moment we needed to find it. But our searchers, and we have one, actually we have 2 of them that runs our sonar, and I'm telling you, they are like angels on this earth. Marcy and Genova. Genova knows her bones like the back of her hand, and so does Marcy. And let me tell you, they keep us straight as well as Dave does too. We've got some really good people out there.
That's an awesome thing, because most people don't get to hear about the group. We saw the group photo, a mixture of men and women, but it looks like the women have the majority in that search team. So kudos to the ladies. That's girl power, right? Girl power
Right.
in that search team. You guys, again, talk about the temperatures. It was like the heat index was about 100, right? A little bit over 100.
105. It was absolutely.
105
People think that
degrees,
you're a lot
guys.
cooler inside of those woods, and let me tell you something right now, that is absolutely incorrect.
105.
Because there was times, and I've been in the heat way at the other end of Alabama, and on this particular search, that morning before, it was probably about 11 o'clock. I'm telling you, I had to literally step away just for a few seconds because I was getting dizzy. It was so hot, so hot.
And that's adult searchers. Not a little tiny little girl.
Wow. And that's a challenge when you're in the middle of doing your searches on foot, to stay hydrated and not get, heat exhaustion, right?
Absolutely, yes.
You talked to me about long pants because you want to, prevent yourself from getting any kind of snake bites or anything like that. Long shirt, hats, gear on the back. So, there's a lot of challenges. What was that, Dave?
Snake boots.
Oh yeah, the little things that go around your leg. We had those on also, so that made it even hotter, because those are very thick. So
Wow.
yeah, it was a journey.
Wow. Bill, you're back.
And the thing about it is, they never came out and complained about it or anything. At all. And they were looking. I'm going to play this. You guys give me just a second.
I know you got up.
Yeah, I tell you, when you got to pee, you got to pee,
Yeah. I mean, you could have told me. I would have took you off. I saw you get up. I thought you had an 85 at the house.
No, I didn't have a pizza delivered. No, that wasn't it.
You got up kind of quick. Guys, again, I'll encourage each and every one of you to support EquiSearch Midwest. I have their link to their website and the link to their Facebook page, and you can donate. It's tax deductible. It's a 501c non-for-profit organization. They search for the missing, and we know that these guys have completed thousands of missions, and they don't always go out there and find the prize and find a loved one and bring them home, but they are persistent. I know Dave right now in his head is thinking, how can I get back down into Tennessee and find this girl? Twyla is doing the same thing. Go ahead, Twyla.
I'd like for everybody to remember just one thing, and that is Lost is not alone, because there are people out there who care, and there are people out there, that want to help, families in this situation. And Summer is now our baby, the community, the world. Her billboards are along the freeway, Memphis, and everywhere. So always remember, Lost is not alone.
Thank you. Lost.
Duty Ron, I just want to say one thing, and I love this organization, Equus, but I just hope that when they go back there again, there's coordination, not just with the searchers, but with the investigators and the searchers, because that has to be coordinated. The search has to be coordinated with the investigators, not just with the searchers.
That is correct, Bill. And to be honest with you, with the lesson that I've just learned,
I probably would not go back until that would happen, to where I would literally sit down with an investigator
Okay.
and work hand in hand with them. So there is no more of this miscommunication, the snafu that we just went through, because it was just this was brutal. The past 2 days, me trying to work and then trying to sit there and juggle this, and I've got my girls that are sitting there on Facebook trying to sit there, and Twyla was one of them, trying to. It's like a damn. It was like a hockey goalie. Every time that somebody would say,
I'm crying.
they would deflect it, and then. But I will say one thing: from all of the feedback that we got, it was very, very much apparent that it was pro EquiSearch. That is for sure.
No, you guys are fantastic, and anyone that would
Isn't that crazy that EquiSearch would be in a situation where they had to defend the honor of their organization? That's crazy. That whole thing was crazy. I don't understand. I mean, it was like people were showing things, trying to discredit some of the people in the EquiSearch organization. It was pretty wild, but it was happening. It was happening, people.
that is crazy. But the point is that the coordination has to be there between the investigators and the searchers, and that's investigation 101, and coordinating it. And because or else you may be searching places that they're not feeling it. They're not feeling the places, but they're not telling you, and they have to communicate that to you.
Right, and that was one of the that's one of the toughest things about my job, Bill, is that I have to sit there and go off of just what I know through my part of the not part of the investigation, but just by deductive reasoning and common sense. I had to sit there and put this search together without anybody telling me, look, this is the time frame. I do know a time that it helps me out tremendously, and then it's almost like I have to work backwards and try to figure out, okay, what makes the most sense, and where would somebody stick her. So that was one of the things, because I had nothing to go off of, because I did not have any contact with Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, any of the investigators, or Coop to even give me a clue of what the hell was going on. So we basically had to do this off of what my gut feelings was and what my intuition was, just for me doing this for years.
And instead, we're left to look at what the the contributors on YouTube are putting out there, instead of what the police are putting out there, and privately to you, because you're involved in this case, and you would keep it on the DL. That's New York. That's New York language for on the down low. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if you know that. So they put it out to you on the DL, and you're going to keep it on the down low.
Guys, I want to refer.
I keep everything close to the vest, so nothing does get misconstrued, or and everybody was sitting there saying, well, the trespassing thing. I mean, what the hell's the difference between? I'll give you a perfect example of the Holly Bobo case. I mean, with Holly Bobo, she was found by an individual that was out in the woods on probably private property without permission, looking for mushrooms or ginseng. I can't remember what, and found her skull. So I mean, as far as like the investigation and us screwing up
I don't think anyone realizes that in those areas we're talking about moonshine, we're talking about ginseng especially. Okay, people make quite a bit of money off of ginseng. People will do a lot to protect their ginseng. There was a case where 2 brothers went missing from, I believe it was Eastern Tennessee, and they had come upon some ginseng. The people ran them off, told them, don't come back. This might happen to you if you come back. I can't remember the exact verbiage, but yes, both of the brothers ended up disappearing, and they have not been found. People manufacturing illegal substances, people using illegal substances. There's a lot there. There's a lot. Now, do I think that Summer came upon somebody's ginseng? I highly doubt it. Okay, I doubt that transpired. Moonshine, I don't think anybody over moonshine. I know that can go. Illegal substances, the possibility of it is there. Is absolutely there.
Crime scene. I'll never forget that, when I was in a very first on doing this, I asked the detective, we were sitting in the box, as you call it, Bill and Ron, going over a case. And I said, I asked the detective, I said, Brian, what is it that we're doing that law enforcement doesn't want us to do, or why won't they call us? One was egos. Some municipalities have big egos. And then he said, they don't want you to screw up a crime scene. And I will never forget this as long as I live. And I will continue to tell the story, and I won't use the word. But he says, Dave, find me an effing crime scene. I can explain why you're there. If that makes any sense. He says, just find it for me, and I'll take care of the rest.
It makes tremendous sense. And you know something, having worked for 16 years in the detective bureau and 10 years in homicide, I can tell you there are
coming over there with their teams and doing searches that cost them thousands and thousands of dollars because they got to pay.
You're looking for a really neat, inexpensive Christmas gift for...
No, I'm not, but thank you anyway.
Those egos, and unfortunately, that's putting
they're talking about egos.
That's putting a recovery or a find of the person, of this little child. It puts it at bay, and that's an unfortunate thing. We should not be talking about this. We should not be having this conversation. But at the end of the day, this had to be done. When Dave reached out to me, he's my brother from another mother, and I said I will open my in the chat, guys. If you could put up some prayer emojis and
not travel outside. So we just thought that we needed to sit there and change that to where we know no boundaries. We don't have state lines. If you need us, call us, and if we can make it happen, look. If I've got to say that Bakersfield, California, when we fly out there as part of the Midwest, then so be it. California is now in the Midwest.
Okay. So I wanted Twyla to talk more about the area for sure. Okay.
Believe it. So he's been through a lot of adversity trying to get justice for his daughter. And look, Dave has the motto of the organization tattooed on his back. I would tell you to take your shirt off and show the ladies, but
all right.
My kids know what I do. My 7-year-old, she's all the time wanting me to go. And when I come back, she asks me questions. And my son, he came in from football practice, and I guess he heard me in here talking, and he came over here to give me a hug. They support every single thing that I do. And one of my sons just turned 18, and he was like, Mom, I want to be on the team. I want to be on the team. And I was like, okay, we'll get you signed up.
Wow. That was a beautiful moment that he came over and gave you the hug, because you were having a little bit of a moment there with the emotion. So that, what a loving boy. So that's awesome. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Tell him Duty Ron and everybody from the New York team over here says kudos to him. It is here. Joey, thanks for joining. Erica, thank you for coming. Yes, because the Army said they already searched the area. Thank God she was brought home. Justice won't come because of politics, unfortunately.
Okay.
But
I
yes,
think this was more of a
chat.
live about EquiSearch for sure. Okay, this is where he says again, I think they talk about the shed. Hold on. See, that's what I said. You can't just flip through everything so fast because there's so much information, that's kind of put out in kind of like pieces. So this is a great example of that. Now, this must not be the one where he talks to Twyla. I will get that pulled up. I will shorten it up because, yeah, we're going to have to start shortening them up, guys. This is a long time. But that's my fault because I do have open panel. Justin busted me out for it. I did drop the link in there somewhere. So.
Yes, because the Army said they already searched the area. Thank God she was brought home. Justice won't come because of politics, unfortunately. But yes, thank you for that super chat. And yes, they did. They were instrumental in that. Dave, are you single? There's a lot of these single things. Oh my God. Is Summers' property on the sides of the hill been searched by your team, Dave? Says
There we go.
No. Physically, we did not the property itself. We did at the bottom of the hill on the next ridge over. was our primary. If I'm not mistaken, then I think that law enforcement and their search teams did the actual property. Because I'll tell you, from the pictures that I've seen, good Lord, the amount of things that's on that property was incredible. That's why I was pointing out a few things, like the shed, and I never even thought about it, but she pointed out the shed that Candace wouldn't let the interviewer in. So there was all kinds of vehicles, and it was just a mess. So it would have taken a long time to sit there and clear that property.
Wow. Thank you for that answer, Dave.
Okay, so that answered the question right there. Law enforcement had control over the property itself, not just the house, over the whole property. And like Dave said, you guys got to realize the vehicles that were parked up there. Grandma had a bus parked up there that was packed full of stuff. Okay? It was packed full of stuff. There was old trucks up there. The Subaru was up there. The Suburban was up there. Don's work truck was up there. There was just a lot of things on that property that law enforcement had to check.
Dave, I always wondered, and I don't know the answer to this, how good of a search law enforcement did of the house.
Well, myself and Twyla has had 2 days of disagreement on this, and I kind of see her point now as far as what she's saying now is because law enforcement really doesn't know how to search, and I don't mean that disrespectful. Their thing is that they should be sticking with the investigation because that's what they do best. And between us going and searching it in comparison to them, because we've had some scenarios where things have been missed, and I think we run over to I think one of the other shows around. I mean, be mistaken, but where police sat there and cleared the house when in reality 2 months later the kid was in the house the whole damn time.
Right. But that's why in Missing Person 101, the location where the person is reporting missing from is the first place you search, and you search that very thoroughly, and you spend a lot of time doing that because that's where they could be.
Correct.
We talk about.
So, like I said, law enforcement went back numerous times.
We go off of the point last scene. The point last scene in Summer's case, it wasn't the house. We don't know if she made it back to the house. So the physical place that she was.
Interesting. They don't know if she made it back to the house. That's interesting.
Last scene in was actually Hunter's house. Right. So if you want to be, go from the point of last scene, that's where you should be starting your search because we don't know if that girl actually made it back to the house in order for her to walk away from.
Dave, there's a lot of things that are unknown here, and even someone else on another podcast.
And we don't know that, right? Everybody goes by the milk jug video and the time that it was taken. So, right?
Admitted that they don't know what the three boys ever actually saw her come back to the house. No one knows that answer except law enforcement.
Right.
Correct.
Here's another question in the chat, and it was a good one. Question: have you checked wells close by? Did your team do any type of searching in the beginning or at the end here in the last search of any wells, or talk of anybody searching wells?
No. I know that there were several ponds that were close by that was of concern. Originally, they put, and I think right within the first day, within the first 24 hours, that they did put divers in there. So we did bring our
first 24 hours, they put divers in the surrounding ponds, is what he's saying. Could they have missed a pond? I don't know. Remember that Brandon guy that JLR talked to? There was like a pond back in that area, but I can't remember what he said about it,
robotic guy, the sonar unit down with us. So if there was any bodies of water that they did not do,
Oh, the story of Frank Light. I believe it was Frank Light, and there was a diver going to research a pond or something. And rumor had it's allegedly, don't know if it's true, that when the diver went to look at a pond, Frank Light was doing work on a church back in the holler and got nasty with the guy. But, you know, I don't know if that was true or not. I don't. Don't know if there's any relevance to it at all.
We at least had that so where they wouldn't have to put divers in the water. Again, we could just threw this guy in there, did a 15-minute scan, and came back and then would have told us what was in that without putting any kind of manpower in there. Again, we're saving time and energy and resources.
Yeah, here's another question, and this comes in from the weird mom. Does the presence of feral dogs affect the search dogs?
Here we go.
No.
Good question.
No, it's a good.
The presence of feral dogs, does it affect the search dogs? That is a great question.
Minute scan and came back and then would have told us what was in that without putting any kind of manpower in there. Again, we're saving time and energy and resources.
Yeah, here's another question, and this comes in from the weird mom. Does the presence of feral dogs affect the search dogs?
No. It's a good cadaver dog only goes off of strictly human decom. So everything else, if it's a good dog, it will shut everything else down except the human decom. Same way with a live track dog is that they will get a scent from the individual missing, and what that dog should do is pick up on the very last trail that individual laid by going out. So, Cloud, do you want to touch on that a little bit?
I agree with every single thing that you're saying. We have used dogs out here in some of our cases that we get, but I agree with every single thing that Dave is saying with that. He's better on that end than I am about the dogs.
Dave, she's just agreeing with the boss. Jen Lowe, who is a great friend of the channel, she says, are there any bigger bodies of water nearby? Thank you for that question, Jen.
There is a river. The biggest body of water is a swimming hole. There is, I believe, a river, and I can't remember the river for the life of me at this point in time, but there is there is a river that's close by in there. And I know what people are thinking, she's probably in water. And again, I don't want to get too graphic, but again, with the heat, her size, usually they would float within 10 days of them being submerged.
They can take a person who has drowned in the water or been thrown into water, and they can estimate the weight and the size. They can actually tell you when remains will come to the surface. It's really interesting, but I'm almost done here because I'm tired.
Right. I want to just say this. I did a little bit of my own investigation about the bodies of water. I looked at that swimming hole and I looked at where it drains off to. And I don't think I'm wrong because I did extensive search of this. It goes from eastern Tennessee all the way to the end of Tennessee. And it ends so far away at just such an odd place. And the end of it is just like a little beach area. It's like sand and it comes into a round circular area. I got to pull that up on my next live stream and show you guys. It literally goes from that watering hole leads all the way from eastern Tennessee to the west, all the way to the west. And it zigzags and it is such a convoluted.
See, you can go back. Don Wells makes a statement about, a remains floating like, remains floating to a bigger body of water. We'll get into all that. All right. I'm about done with this, you guys, because I know everybody's got to be like, get the fuck off here, lady. Especially when I feel that way myself.
Long river, and it branches off into all these other things, but it never ends.
There's a lot of variables that would have to be done probably by the Army Corps of Engineers as far as on a flow and how far a body will travel in such and such a time.
Dave, do you know?
The network.
Duty Ron, I appreciate you, man. You guys, I do recommend checking out Duty Ron.
That was searched. I mean, I could say from a law enforcement
Grandma's
standpoint,
trailer.
they searched from the inside out of the home and then the inside out of that trailer, which is all of about, I don't know, 10 feet or 12 feet long by very narrow. So that would not take long to search through that trailer. But B. Concilio says, did anybody search the grandma trailer? And I would have to say yes.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Yeah. Let me just look for any more comments because I want to be fair to the chat. And again, people in the chat, you don't have to send super chats, but any super chat that comes goes straight to EquiSearch and so on and so forth. So I'm not saying that you have to send a super chat to get the question. As the investigators are saying, they're looking at everything and don't think that they didn't look at that.
I want you guys to hear this question.
And so on and so forth. So
I want you guys to hear
I'm not
this
saying
question.
that you have to send a super chat to get the question answered because I'm looking at just a regular chat. Does anyone think maybe Don wasn't at work and that when he called to ask when she was coming home, he walked and took Summer himself? Anything's possible, Beth Berryhill.
Anything's possible, ma'am.
As the investigators are saying, they're looking at everything and don't think that they didn't look at that as a possibility. As corny and as crazy as some of these things sound to regular people, law enforcement, they go back and forth with all kinds of ideas, and all tips are.
Could Don have left work that day and came back? He could have. I would. The only thing about that is people that he works with, they work in like a subdivision. So, but Don controlled that.
Entertain, right, Bill?
You know, Duty Ron, one of the things that that bothers me about this investigation is that I always talk about investigation direction, right? And investigative direction isn't decided by one person. It's decided by a whole plethora of detectives and bosses sitting around and discussing the case. And to me, what makes most sense in this case is the people around, you know, Candace and Don and all the people around them. That's what makes sense to me. And when people start throwing in horse shit like serial killers and some serial killer just came on the property from another, I mean, it throws unnecessary shit into the mix and it confuses everybody because you have to look at this stuff logically and what it could be and use, reasonable deductive brain things, not coming up with outrageous theories and then throwing it out there.
And he's right. I've heard some crazy stuff, y'all. Crazy stuff. All right, we're almost done here. Now, we'll get a little bit more juicier for you guys next time, okay? For real. We'll start getting into the individualized people. I just basically wanted to show you guys that they were looking for Summer. They really were. They were all putting everything they had into finding her. Now, I do still want you guys to hear Twyla when she speaks about the area and some of the things that they came upon. She talks about actually some of them became physically ill. It wasn't good. Bye, Kathy.
It just confuses the shit out of everybody. And it actually annoys me. It annoys me.
I got to use this more often on you because
yeah, I guess so. When I get passionate, I start cursing.
You've asked my opinion as far as around the house and as far as if it was an abduction or not. I would love you to hear from Twyla, and because she was at the house. I mean, not at the house, but on the street.
Let's hear Twyla.
I want her to tell you guys what her thought process is on it.
Twyla, take it away.
I'd love to hear it.
I don't really know that I can give you my thought process, but I think I might just need to pass on that one. I'm so sorry, but I just think I better take a pass.
Wait a minute, Twyla. There's 2,000 people here watching you.
Yep.
You took a ride to the house, and what did you do? You looked up at the driveway. What was your take of the driveway, Twyla?
Oh my goodness. And that's all I know to say is, oh my goodness. It was me and my other teammate while we were out reconning. I was saying, oh my goodness.
No, what I was trying to say, Charlie, is what's your opinion on the percentage as far as it being a stranger abduction?
Oh, absolutely not. That's my opinion, but no.
Can
I
you
wouldn't think so.
Twyla, I'm so glad you got off the fence because you were sitting on that fence. I was going to get pissed. I was going to
Because
get
I'm not
pissed
trying
off.
to get.
I let her alone. I had to take it by.
I hate fence sitters.
I'm going to get all kinds of hell after this, boys. I can tell you that right now.
And that's the thing. These people were looking for summer, and they ended up getting caught into a shitstorm of bullshit. For real. For sure. Oh, I hate to hear that, Kathy. I hate to hear that, girl.
But I'm going to bed right after this, so I'm not going to get into this. Joe Murray, our favorite attorney, sends in a $5 super chat. Joe Murray, when I have him on the show, he bills me $550 an hour.
We said he makes $650.
And why she took off and has just disappeared. She just flew the coop.
Talking about grandma.
Words, coop, right? Well, she flew the coop. And we all trying to figure out why. What's the motivation? Is grandma getting out of town because she knows that the hit the fan? Does she know that something that we don't know? This all remains to be seen. So I'm still looking at the chat. I want to see retired Sergeant Melinda. Thank you for your service to the country, and thank you for being such a great supporter and friend to this Duty Run community, and Crime Time community.
You know.
She says everyone is allowed to have opinions as long as they are all respectful.
Oh,
amen to that,
thanks,
sister.
Sergeant.
Duty Run, can I just say one thing?
But can I finish my thought for a second?
No, I want to cut you right off. Go ahead.
I like to get all sides and opinion. And as a matter of fact, sometimes I answer it and I say, you know what? I respect your thoughts and opinion.
It's a press conference and just gets rid of some of the rumors are out there and maybe lets the public know, not the, the vest as far as evidence and all that other stuff, but just make a
1 month, 2 months. They would a lot of people who mother the sheriff, who mother the people of that area, and was talking about corruption and all kinds of stuff because they weren't getting information. But they now all have a big piece of humble pie to eat. So at the end of the day, and people don't like when I say those handcuffs come out.
Time comes where he's like a very important witness, then yeah, they'll do that so as not to impede.
Search coordinator. And Twyla, tell the people what a search coordinator does for EquiSearch.
We have to kiss the boss's butt. No, I'm just kidding. Pretty much, we have to communicate with law enforcement. We have to have contact with the family, which is very important to us. And we pretty much put our searchers where
they're needed. All right, Twyla girl. We'll get I'll remember to find, I'm not going to show the whole thing, but I'm going to play Twyla talking about the area. The area. I'm going to put this out here just so I don't forget. If I can here. I don't know the exact date of this. Hold on. This was the church. This is pastor. This is the pastor of the SDA church. And he's talking about what is happening with the church. And I'm just going to play this real quick. Just that way it's off of my list of things that I know I have.
And there's a lot of negative feedback on social media, not only about the family, about some members in this church who have reached out to help the family and minister to them at this time. And then you get these false accusations against these church members that are just trying to help. And they're ludicrous, and they're awful. As a matter of fact, I want to say they're evil. The Bible says that the devil is the false accuser. And these are false accusations against very good people that are loving, kind, gentle, and caring, and just trying to help the family during this time. You know, and even the authorities, you know, they can get discouraged, all the false comments about them too. And the false tips that are being sent to them. You know, it eats up their time and resources. And we want them to be able to focus and find Summer and bring her home safe.
All right, y'all. Coming at
You know, it's been a month.
That's it. That was from a month. That was from a month. Oh my goodness. Creepalacha tried to creep in there. Sorry, Creepalacha. I am done. If you guys want to dig into more of the searchers, please let me know. I think, EquiSearch was good people to kind of cover what they went over and all that stuff. So, Justin.
Hello.
Hello, Justin.
Hi.
What are you doing, Justin?
Like I wanted to come up on here.
I know, but I was talking about Summer's case.
Okay.
So when I talk about Summer's case, I have a hard time letting people up. But that's my fault because I do have an open panel on there.
Yeah,
You have to realize that sometimes people don't want to come up here with me to talk to me about Summer, especially. So
okay.
Once I get on a roll, it's hard to stop.
I'll always let you talk.
Oh, well, that's very sweet of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, all right, Justin, I'm really tired. I got to get off here.
I'll see you in the next live stream.
Okay, darling. Bye.
Yeah.
Poor Justin. I'm sorry, Justin. All right, my brain is really tired. We are going to, on the next live stream, we are going to get into the cast of characters that have surrounded themselves or inserted themselves into Summer's case. We are going to talk about Dawn. We're going to talk about Candace. We're going to talk about Robin. We're going to talk about Tim. We're going to talk about David Dodson. You know, you never know what we're going to talk about over here when it comes to Summer's case. Oh, love you, Wee. Love you, darling. Yeah, the pastor was a touchy-feely guy. That's what Robin said. He was a touchy-feely guy. And it makes it hard because when you look at the cast of characters that have come out in Summer's case, it's hard to talk about anyone and only see them as good, honest people. Does that make sense? It should make sense. So, all right. Sorry, I know a lot of people were bored with the conversation today, and I apologize for that. So, but yes, like I said, I don't remember off the top of my head what the situation was with Dave Radar and Don Wells. Dave does talk about that over somewhere on Duty Ron's. I can't remember off the top of my head because my brain is like fried right now. Yeah, we'll get into it. Thank you guys so much. 4 hours is a long time. And we got to cut it down. I know we're just getting into the meat and potatoes of it, but you know, I have to promise myself I'm going to make these lives a little bit shorter for real. So, but I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Go do you, be you, have a good time while you're doing it. That's the way I think about it. Thank you, mods, for coming in. Thank you, Justin, for making an appearance. We appreciate you. We do. All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. And, you know, you may not think coming in and saying something, I don't pay attention to it, or I come back at you or whatever. I do take into consideration what everybody says in chat. So when we get to, the place where what you have or what you know or something like that, when we get to that place where it could be helpful in the conversation, please feel free to come back and we'll talk about it for sure. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Later. Peace out. Peace out. And don't forget, it's about this little girl back here, Summer Moon, Utah Wells. Any relevant information, please call 1-800-TBI-FIND or the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. Thank you guys. Peace out. Justice for Summer.